Although Donald Trump, to his credit, we've been energy independent, so maybe we will not have to spend as much money on that this year. It's unfortunate. I think this report is wrong. I discredit it with my own personal manifestations. This report is incorrect. Don't pay attention to it.
Get in the vibration, get in that quantum field.
We're ignoring it. This is not going to happen. All right. Well, stay with us, folks. First edition. We'll be right back.
Rick Leventhal reported on the biggest stories of our time. Now he's fighting to bring you the truth, no matter what it takes. Watch The Leventhal Report, weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax 2.
Hi, folks, we're back. If you've been injured in an accident that's not your fault and you don't have an attorney, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions and tell you what your case is potentially worth. Pick up the phone, call now.
No matter what you drive, there's only one guarantee. It's gonna break down.
I had a sensor light up on my dashboard.
There was a popping noise.
The last thing I remember is just the engine cut out.
Your next breakdown could be anytime, anywhere, whether you've got the money to fix it or not.
It was a thermostat, $2,600.
Seat sensor, $1,400.
But if you've got endurance, you could never pay out of pocket for a car repair again, no matter how much it cost them to cover it.
In my first year with Endurance, they covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
It was like almost a $6,000 job. If I didn't have Endurance, I would have had to pay for that or just trash the whole car and start again.
If your car's out of warranty, a transmission can easily cost you $4,000.
And an engine? Over $7,000, if you're lucky.
With Endurance, those parts are covered.
A bad camera unit, $800 to repair. A bad wheel bearing, over $1,000. A new steering rack, close to $3,000. Endurance covered it fully.
Plus, you pick the mechanic you trust to do the work.
It's a totally seamless process going to any certified mechanic. They submit the claim directly to Endurance. They get paid, and I'm out the door.
You trust us to do the work, and we trust Endurance to pay us direct.
And the best part, your rate stays locked in no matter how many claims you file.
If your car's under 20 years old, Endurance has you covered with unlimited miles. Plus, your plan includes 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country.
So, who's gonna pay for your next breakdown? You?
Or Endurance.
Right now, you can get $300 off any plan, plus a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free, all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. But you have to act now. Visit EnduranceWarranty.com or
call 1-833-496-4951 for a free quote. That's 1-833-496-4951.
Okay, so yesterday was a great day, Tom, because President Trump and First Lady Melania were at the Naval Station in Norfolk celebrating the Navy's 250th birthday. But I have to give a shout out to our First Lady right there because she looked incredible, especially her bomber jacket. It was so cool. I had to look it up. It is by the designer Lamarck, a Canadian designer, but she kind of stole the show here as usual, looking incredible. Spectacular look.
The whole imagery right there is spectacular.
Really good.
Aircraft carrier in the background, President Trump there, Melania there with that bomber jacket.
So cool.
The sailors, look at their smiling faces.
Yes.
What a difference from when you saw Biden trip at one of some address he gave, maybe it was a Naval Academy graduation.
I remember, yes,
the
graduation.
Tripped right off. But what an image, not only does that send for our troops, but it sends it to the world.
Yeah.
We are so back.
We're back.
From fashion to military. Look at that.
It's a great picture. Finally, seeing someone who can represent us on the world stage and looking good doing so.
Looking good always help.
Counting down just 2 days to go to unveiling of the Dove's new studio.
Hey, happy Monday. This is where it happens. Right here. Why? Because he's here.
Oh, no.
And the rest of us are just left to react.
And it's Monday.
Yeah. Good morning. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Jerry Belden and team is here, has arrived. Good morning. A little bit of a countdown today.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Are we ready? I don't think you are ever really ready, but sooner or later you bite the bullet and you jump in,
Yeah.
And so anyway, we've been, if you've been watching and listening, Wednesday will be quite a day around here as we introduce a lot of changes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll tell you about that a little bit later on. Beautiful fall weather. Boy, the trees are turning fast. Was there an earthquake?
Where?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I was driving up our driveway in our neighborhood.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, there were like 6 million acorns on the ground.
Really?
I mean, within the matter of hours, I thought, well, did the wind come through? Was there an earthquake? I mean, I went this way out.
Yeah.
No acorns. I come this way back, and they were all over the driveway, and I'm going,
I don't know what's going on. This year's acorn harvest is like, it's a bumper crop. And at my place, you just stand out in the front, couple minutes. Boom.
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 Yeah, especially
you hear them on the roof, you hear them on my truck, you hear them on
especially when they hit the gutter.
Yeah,
Bang!
bang.
Well, anyway, happy Monday to you. Beautiful weather, shorter days, if you notice. Cool nights. Got into the 40s last night. Wow. So we're going to bump up temperature-wise, and then we're going to go back a little bit. So a lot in the news this morning. Wow. The courts were busy. I guess
oh, my goodness.
These judges decided, in spite of the Supreme Court ruling, they're going to make rules anyway.
Yes, they are.
So we'll talk about that. Oregon is right in the middle of some national controversy, so we'll get into that in just a little bit. What's up, man?
Well, first of all, it's National Child Health Day.
All right.
Recognizing the care and guidance children need to grow strong and healthy. It's something that we certainly... what's that?
Skittles.
Skittles. Be careful with that. We can't do Skittles anymore, man. We got RFK Jr.'d.
Okay, what was the other one you had the other day?
Which one?
The little something.
Oh, Smarties. Smarties, yeah, because they don't have the bright colors.
Oh, okay.
Just as much sugar. No bright colors.
Okay.
I guess that's the thing. So anyway, National Child Health Day, also National Coaches Day, honoring the men and women who inspire us to work harder and do our best. And I'm riding the pines right now. Riding the pines, sitting on the bench, watching the games play out because we're second generation now.
Yeah.
We watched our kids do it.
Yeah.
Now we're back in all the same gyms all over again.
I thought you were watching the Yanks and the Blue Jays.
No, let's not talk about that. So anyway, moving on.
Yanks and the Blue Jays.
Here's the deal: when you sit on the pines and you watch your kids play all the games, you're on a circuit.
Yeah.
You go to all the gyms and all the places, and you sit with other parents, and their kids are participating with yours. And then your kids grow up and you're done with that for a while until they have kids. And then you go back and now you're sitting with all the same parents except now we're all grandparents.
Yeah, there you go.
Watching. We got the Brookins, Paula and Tom are in there every game. And so...
do they have an old geezer section?
But you know what?
The geezers sit here, parents sit here.
And as parents, we're usually doing the coaching. But now we're watching our kids and their friends do the coaching, and our hats off to all of those. And you can really see it in the kids as they develop and the work that the coaches do with them. It is really a great thing, and our hats off to all coaches who give their time, because that's what they're doing. Basically, they're giving their time in these situations, and so our hats off to you. It's also National German American Day.
All right.
Okay. National Consignment Day, and consignment.
German American Day. Wait, let's stop there.
Okay.
Wiener Schnitzel.
Der Wiener Schnitzel. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because our country, we have a history of groups coming, immigrating to the United States, and then kind of staying together in groups.
Yeah.
So we get there's Germantown in New York City and in other places as well.
Chinatown over here.
Yeah, kind of hang out. And
Mercedes over here.
And one of the nice things is going to one of those areas and then partaking in the the fine foods that they make.
There you go.
I love that. So anyway, also let's go to Consignment Day.
Okay.
consignment selling is something that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But especially in a digital age, this is an amazing thing. The ways that you can buy products, and especially some of those gently used things, things that still have life, still have value, and that's actually good stewardship rather than throwing them into a landfill.
Well, yes.
Okay.
You know, and besides, you don't pay the initial price.
That is true. It's amazing.
Especially on automobiles.
Depreciation is and RVs.
And RVs.
You look at RVs. I mean, depreciation is an amazing thing. So, all right, we have one thing to eat. National Noodle Day.
Noodles.
Technically, a noodle is just some unleavened dough that's been rolled out and cut into shapes. We had Linguine Day not long ago. You know, that's Noodle Day. But this encompasses all noodles, and your favorite is?
Well, I like the thinner ones.
Yeah.
You know, the fettuccine and the angel hair.
Angel hair is the best, but the thing is, when you're cooking angel hair pasta, you got to be really careful. You got to be very aware of al dente because it's so easy to get them.
You take it out of the pot and throw it against the refrigerator. Isn't that what you're supposed to do?
The old method, and I have seen this. You take the spaghetti out and you throw it up against the wall. If it sticks, it's done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So especially angel hair pasta. If you think it's almost done, it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you like al dente?
See.
Okay. All right.
Is that the right one? Yes.
I have one weird. This isn't a fun fact today. This is a weird fact today.
All right.
If you were going to take all the numbers from one, well, let's say you start writing them out longhand. 1. O-N-E-T, T-W-O.
Oh, geez.
3, T-H-R-E-E.
Yeah.
And you keep writing. The first number that you're going to write with the letter A in it is 1,000.
Really?
Yeah. You think about it. 1,000.
Man, you didn't sleep last night? You came up with this?
I was thinking,
when
I start writing numbers, I can't remember writing an A in it. Let's see, 985. Yeah, no. 986. No, there's a it's 1,000.
999.
999. Right. Still no A. But when you write 1,000, the first A. Like I said, weird, meaningless fact. Something for you to chew on today, because all we have is noodles. Other than that, so
speaking of noodles, weird, meaningless facts. Here's the guy that does the weather.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny and breezy with daytime highs near 73 for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville, and near 77 in Wilsonville, with a northeast wind gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Moving down the Willamette Valley, sunny and breezy with daytime highs in the mid-70s from Salem through Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with low temperatures tonight in the mid-40s. Areas of frost this morning across central Oregon, then sunny with highs near 70 in Prineville and mid-60s for Bend and Sun River with a light east wind. Sunny in Boise, Idaho with a high in the mid-60s. Sunny and nice today along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the low 80s for Coos Bay, mid-70s around Port Orford, mid-60s for Brookings, and upper 60s for Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunny and breezy this afternoon in the Rogue Valley and the Klamath Basin, with highs in the low 80s for Grants Pass and Medford, upper 70s in Ashland, and upper 60s in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny and mid-70s today in Wairika, sunny and breezy this afternoon in Redding with a high in the mid-80s, and sunny in Chico and Sacramento with daytime highs near 84. In the Bay Area, sunny with daytime highs in the mid-80s for Santa Rosa and Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high near 81 and a light west wind, and today in San Jose, sunny and near 84. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
Oh, look at that. It's so clear that the glow pre-sunrise gives us a beautiful picture this morning.
Plus that huge moon last night.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
No wonder nobody slept.
Yeah. It was a supermoon, I hear.
And that means?
I don't know. It looked super to me.
Yeah,
they were talking about affecting the tides, especially on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
There's some tidal issues going on.
Well, it's there's a picture off of Roxanne looking northeast. That's McLaughlin. You know what's interesting out there is that there was a picture yesterday when you woke up. There was this thin layer of fog over the valley, and the only thing poking up, if you're looking right, was McLaughlin. When you looked at it, it looked like it was floating.
Oh, I love that.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, beautiful shot this morning.
Well, time for Pastor Greg Laurie, as he says the table that's described in Psalm 23 isn't a table for one, it's a table for two.
Our shepherd will protect us and get us safely to heaven. Our shepherd will protect us and get us safely to heaven. Drop down to verse 5. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The Christian has three primary enemies: the world, the flesh, and the devil. The world with its allure is the external foe. The flesh with its evil enticements is the internal foe, and Satan with his temptations is the infernal foe. So the world, the flesh, and the devil. And every day we're going to get barraged by temptation coming in some way, shape, or form. But God promises he'll prepare a table before us in the presence of your enemies. By the way, this is a table for two, you and Jesus.
That's a nice way of putting it, isn't it? Yeah. Table for two. All right, good morning to you. 11 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. And I just want to let you know, we will get to the Oregon court battle coming up in just a moment. Early this morning, there was another judgment come out from another district court, and so we'll talk about that. So Oregon is in the news because of the National Guard being dispatched to protect the federal offices. Got stopped by one judge, and then he was going to send in California and got stopped by another judge. So we'll talk about that coming up in just a moment. In the meantime, the other big thing on the table is Sunday came and went, which means that Hamas has effectively rejected President Trump's 20-point ceasefire proposal for refusing to disarm and to release the hostages. Apparently they agreed, but nothing's happened. So the president basically has said Hamas faces, quote, complete obliteration if the group refuses to relinquish power in Gaza. Now, a lot of movement has been made to apparently arrange for the hostage exchange, but nothing's happened yet. And they have not agreed to disarm and basically give up the power of over Gaza. So pretty sticky.
Yeah.
And here we go. So we'll see with this. But Sunday came and went. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, this was really something. Department of Homeland Security agents were rammed by vehicles just outside Chicago over the weekend. Apparently 10 cars came and started ramming the agents' cars in just outside of Chicago, what they call the Broadview area, which is near Chicago. Rammed the vehicles and boxed it in by 10 cars. And unable to move their vehicles, the agents got out of their car and were faced with one driver having a semi-automatic weapon. Folks, something is really, really, really wrong here. And I don't know where this is going, but one seems to fuel the other. And I don't know where the solution is at the moment, but you cannot allow this to happen.
No.
And so the more forceful they get, the more force it demands on a response. But now our ICE agents, now let me give you one other little story that came out of this. You know, Kristi Noem was refused to use a restroom over the weekend in a government building. Here she is, Department of Homeland Security, and she went, her and her team stopped the car to go into a government building to use the restroom facilities and were denied. Something's really wrong here, folks. This is serious as a heart attack. Then we find out that there is now bounty on ICE people. $2,000 if you kidnap one and $10,000 if you kill one.
Where's the money coming from?
See? We need to find out.
Yeah.
And something's really, really bad here. And we need to really, I mean, seriously, pray. Before you take sides, and I understand that's easy to do, but this is stuff that could cause a civil unrest in this country, like we've seen in centuries. Mm-hmm. And this needs to get put down. And I don't know what's going on here, but we are now in nobody's really saying it, but we are in a state of anarchy with this kind of stuff going on. Yeah. And it needs to be eliminated. So let me ask you this. Where does the Emergency Powers Act come into play? If governors aren't going to use their power to do what they are called to do and protect their citizens, does that relinquish the power then to the federal government to come in and do something? That's one of the big arguments out there. Mm-hmm. And you have to ask yourself, in the Portland case, where the police union now is stepping in and saying, wait a minute, we're hired to do this stuff and you're telling us don't do it.
Right, right.
So we got a serious, I mean, this is really bad. Mm-hmm. And I hate to start the morning with something as negative as this, but this is what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, it's what's going on. You have to look at it.
So the only thing I can say is that, and we'll get to this more in depth here in just a moment, but over the weekend, a judge said to President Trump, you can't use the Oregon National Guard to protect federal buildings in Portland.
Right.
He said, okay, well, then I'll send in the California National Guard.
Right.
And just hours ago, another judge popped up and said, no, you can't use the California National Guard. And he was going to use the Texas National Guard to go to Chicago. Now, folks, we have a huge problem here. We got the problem with anarchy going on against federal buildings and people rioting night after night after night after night in our own state, in Portland. Mm-hmm. Happens in Chicago where people die. So you have all this going on. And then here's the other thing. The Supreme Court has already ruled on these lower courts, you can't do what you're doing, okay? Mm-hmm. They're doing it anyway. So here's the ambiguity. Where's the consequences of breaking a Supreme Court ruling? There are none.
Apparently there are none, right.
Okay.
Right.
So here we go. Yeah. We're in a real state of flux. There seems to be an appetite for lawlessness, even in Portland, among the citizens.
Mm-hmm. Well, it seems as though the left has been given a pass, basically, and it's almost like they're saying ours is the righteous cause, and the things that we do, even though they are breaking the law, is above it. And I think this goes all the way over to the Charlie Kirk assassination. The whole movement is turned into a violent movement. And we see it against people who speak differently and view opinions differently than their own. And then here into law enforcement who are trying to uphold the law. It's crazy.
It is. I don't know. I think if you want to just go down the political road just for a moment, the Democrats are doing the dumbest thing they could possibly do by supporting anarchy.
Yeah.
And calling it righteousness and calling it protecting the Constitution. It's anything but. Yeah. And most people, if not a vast majority of Americans, see through it and see for what it really is, in spite of the news coverage.
Well, they just appear to be more in support of lawbreakers than the people who are the victims of these actions.
But there's another part of this I don't understand.
What?
I don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand why the long-term citizens of Portland are letting this happen. Mm-hmm. It makes no sense. It's such a beautiful city with so much pride, and then they let this slip into their city, and they seem to be happy with it.
Yeah. Well, because they hate Trump. I mean, it's as blue as blue gets.
I still think that there's a remnant inside Portland that doesn't want this, but they don't know what to do.
Okay.
You don't spend $1 million home, $2 and $3 million for a home up on where the Rose Garden up there because you don't want your city burned down.
Yeah. But conveniently for them, they don't see it up there. You have to go down to the federal buildings to see what's going on.
They're living in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't park the car out on the street at night.
No, well, they don't have to. They have garage.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but I something's wrong. Something is really wrong where we're actually glorifying lawlessness, and as I told you earlier, I watched something. I can't get it out of my mind. I wish I hadn't seen it.
I know.
But the only thing I can say is that it's 2 weeks now, and a young 31-year-old got killed live on television, assassinated in front of 3,000 people, and live on national TV, and we've moved on.
Yep.
I don't get it. Okay. All right, we'll take a quick break. What is today? Did you have something?
We got we got no food.
Oh,
no, I take it back. We got noodles. We're eating noodles all day today. What do you want on yours?
Oh, veggies.
Oh, really? Any in particular?
No, but you can have. How about shrimp?
I'll take. Well, shrimp is good. Yeah, in garlic and butter sauce. Oh,
yeah.
Enough said. I'll take that.
You'll sleep alone.
No. I'm feeding it to her too, man.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Men of Southern Oregon, we are thrilled to announce that our next Game Changers, we are bringing in author and speaker Lee Strobel. If you're not familiar with Lee Strobel, he wrote The Case for Faith, The Case for Christ. He is the man behind the movie The Case for Christ, and he's got a new book out called Seeing the Supernatural. Recently, he's been featured on The Sean Ryan Show. He's been featured on Tucker Carlson. A lot of his books address big questions that believers have, and even the unbelieving world, about heaven, about Jesus. Can we trust the resurrection? He was formerly an atheist, and through his research, he came to the faith. I'm super excited for you guys to experience Game Changers at Edgewater Christian Fellowship with Lee Strobel. Get signed up. It's November 2nd, 6 p.m. God bless you guys.
For years, theDove has been bringing you encouragement, information, and hope. Now we're stepping into a brand new era. October 8th, join us for the grand reveal of our new state-of-the-art studio that you've helped make possible, designed to serve you better with a commitment to excellence. It's a new chapter for theDove, but the same mission with a bold new look. Mark your calendar, October 8th, live between 6 and 9 a.m., and see the difference.
Okay, welcome back. And let me just say that, hey, how you doing? 23 minutes past the hour. The big story is really in our own state, and that's up in Portland. It's made national news. It's been in the news most of the weekend. As you know, the president has deployed 200 National Guard into Portland. Well, then to defend the federal buildings, which have been under siege nightly for about over a month now. Okay, to your point, Jerry, you don't see anything during the day. Certainly you don't see anything Sunday morning.
Right.
But when the sun goes down, it turns into a hellhole.
Exactly.
And it's a war zone. And so this has been going on for quite a while. The city has done nothing about it, and the state's done nothing about it. And they're basically saying, we don't need help. We have this under control. Really? Okay, so he deploys the National Guard. 166 volunteer to go, and then all of a sudden, one of these rogue judges, district court judge, gets up and says, no, you can't do that, filed a complaint and stopped it. Okay, so the governor says, all right, we won't use the Oregon National Guard. We'll send in the California National Guard, which was kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and they were on their way there and got stopped by a judge early this morning. Another judge, a federal judge, blocks the National Guard deployment to Portland. And they're saying it's all part of the constitutional challenge of the president's president's emergency powers. Here's what our governor said about this just a little while ago.
I received intelligence that 101 federalized California National Guard members arrived in Oregon by plane and were then sent to Camp Withicum. That's the facility operated by the Oregon Military Department. It is our understanding that there are an additional 99 California Guard members en route today. So assuming a total of 200 service members from the California National Guard will shortly completely be in the state of Oregon. However, my office has received no official notification or correspondence from the federal government regarding this action by the president. This action appears to be intentional to circumvent yesterday's ruling by a federal judge. This afternoon, I sent a message to Northern Command directing them to obey the October 4th court ruling from yesterday and take no further action regarding deploying troops in Oregon. I also directed that those troops that will be at Camp Withicum should be restricted to that facility, and that the California National Guard troops should be sent home as soon as possible.
Okay, so in the meantime, since she's recorded that, a federal judge filed an injunction and blocked California National Guard from coming to Oregon. So the whole thing's in a stop point again. At this point, the governor seems to be winning this through these district courts, and yet the attack on federal buildings in downtown Portland continues to happen nightly. I don't know what to say about this. It's easy to argue and scream and holler and jump up and down, but there's something really serious about this. And I'm wondering if, even the police union is saying, when the police are told not to support National Guard, to go in and support the National Guard efforts, and they're told by the city not to do this. The police union spoke up over the weekend and said this is in violation of their oath of office.
Right.
So now you have a controversy even among the police force. I think long term, these anarchists and those who support them will lose. But you cannot allow this bullying to go on. You have to stop it. And I don't know if the country has the fortitude to see this through.
Well, and especially this portion of the country. I mean, we have to look at the political alliance and allegiances of the state that we're in. I mean, it's so massively blue.
I won't ask that question.
Oh, come on.
No.
Okay.
I will say this. So let's set that aside. Everybody take a deep breath. Come to me, Scott. Okay. Talk to. Okay. Here's the deal.
What?
Let's have some fun.
Okay.
Because tonight at 10 o'clock, the U-71-5 auction ends.
Are you still bidding?
Let me say this. Hold on here.
Okay.
Hello, Bud Amundsen. I want 10% commission on everything that I raise the price on. Yeah, okay, thanks.
Have you bought anything?
I ain't saying anything.
Are you leading?
I ain't saying anything. The only thing I'm going to say is that if somebody doesn't outbid me, I bought a lot of stuff.
All right. And it all wraps up when exactly?
Tonight at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, okay.
So go to U-71-5. Right. Actually, you can go 71 and then the word 5, 715.org, and it'll take you right to the pages. There it is. See it there? Right. So scroll down a little bit. And now click on, see where it says View All Items. Click on there. See there? Now watch what happens. There they are. There's all the items. Page after 15 pages of items. And you can start bidding there, and it all closes tonight at 10 o'clock.
It's a great website. This is really
there's some things in there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just about everything for life in there.
All right.
Okay?
Oh, cool.
I don't see any, pills for anarchists to take. Maybe they need a massage. Some of them need their oil changed.
That's right. Oh, yes.
Some of them need their oil changed.
Oh, gosh.
All right, let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on out there. Weather-wise, satellite image, weather-wise, pretty nice.
Oh, lots of clear.
And you know what?
What?
Warm.
Warm, yeah. We're talking about low 80s today, about 80 tomorrow, and then starting to drop on Wednesday, but still sunny and low 70s.
And rain by next weekend?
No, we may get rain by Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, through the weekend. So, some more showers coming our way. It's that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Beautiful weather.
Well, we have Dr. Mehmet Oz. He joined Newsmax's National Report. He responded to this clip of President Trump's announcement on affordable prescription drugs.
Moving forward, all new medications introduced by Pfizer to the American market will be sold at the reduced most favored nation cost. So we'll be paying essentially what other countries are paying, who have been much lower, much lower for many, many years.
So let me put some numbers behind the comments you just heard President Trump make in that press outing. We have in America a bizarre situation where our drugs, even if they're made in the same factory with the same product, same bottle, cost 3 times more on average than the exact same item sold in Europe or other developed countries. And for that reason, a lot of Americans, when they go to the drugstore, cannot pick up their medications. It's about 1 in 3 actually get sticker shock and run away. And many Americans have to choose between groceries and their medications. The president has been frustrated by this for years. He tried to address it in the first administration, and he has called me continuously and Secretary Kennedy to make sure that we had this high in our agenda of items to address. It took some negotiating. We had some tools we could apply pressure with, and we were able to get Pfizer, who is a leading pharmaceutical company, and their CEO to come to the Oval Office and make the commitment to do what I think all pharmaceutical companies will do, which is to allow our nation to buy medications for our people at the same price as other countries. It's called most favored nation. So you get the same prices as anywhere else on the planet. We're not asking for better, but we're saying if we're funding all the research, which we're more than half is coming from U.S. coffers, if we're spending a lot of effort trying to make sure that our Americans are healthy, we should be able to get the best pricing, certainly equal pricing to anybody else.
Well, isn't it interesting? They called it most favored nation status.
Yeah.
They take an American company.
Yes.
That wasn't given its hometown the favored nation status and was giving it to everybody else.
I can't get over this. How does this happen?
Because it was allowed to happen. All of this, follow the money, follow the money, follow the money. Go to every one of these, including Republicans, and look at how much money came in from pharmaceutical.
Right, and you know what? There's no mystery about who's getting the pharmaceutical money. Just go back and watch a replay of RFK Jr. in front of the congressional panel that he was in front, and the attacks that he took. And a question would come, and he would try to answer it, and they would yell over him about it. It's like, you know what? I think we just followed the money, and we know where it stops.
Yeah,
and that's how this stuff happens.
It is. It's really amazing. I don't think we realize how corrupt things had become.
You are right.
And they're a long ways from being cleaned up. A long ways from being cleaned up. But there's just a lot of corruption out there across the board. So, but anyway, hey, RFK. I didn't know what to think of him until he gave his speech when he closed his presidential campaign down.
Oh, yeah.
And he decided to close his campaign down and endorse President Trump. That speech he gave during that time was staggering. And I'm going, where has this guy been? Where has he been?
Yeah.
Well, apparently he's been around a lot a bit. I mean, he's done a lot of research and he's been involved in a lot of things, but nobody knew about it until he gave that speech.
You're right.
Wow.
Yes.
And his main concern is clean up the food chain and clean up medicine.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Well, here we go. Everything, life's pretty tough, isn't it?
Well, it's got its moments, doesn't it? Yeah.
I don't know, but I will say this. It is pumpkin pie season at Costco. We'll be right back.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Your property demands equipment with more reliability, durability, and versatility built in. Kubota equipment is ready to get the job done right.
Welcome back. 35 minutes past the hour. Well, as we mentioned at the top of the hour, the president basically has given the ultimatum to Hamas. Apparently, they agreed, but they're not performing, which is so typical of what they do. So let's check in with CBN News Watch and get caught up.
This is CBN News Watch.
It is Monday, the 6th of October. We're going to begin this half hour in the Middle East, where negotiators from Israel and Hamas are working in Cairo on President Donald Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza and free the hostages. The president is urging them to move fast, posting time is of the essence to avoid more bloodshed. But while Hamas has said it is prepared to release all of the hostages, some major obstacles still remain. CBN's Chris Mitchell reports now from Jerusalem.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Fox News Sunday he's hopeful the hostages may be coming home.
I think that we are the closest we have been in a very long time to having no hostages held by Hamas, either living or deceased. The second part of this, and it's going to be a much tougher part of it, is what happens after that? Who's going to run Gaza moving forward? It can't be Hamas. It can't be a terrorist organization.
President Trump sounded positive on Truth Social and impatient. He wrote, "I am told that the first phase should be completed this week, and I am asking everyone to move fast. I will continue to monitor this centuries-old conflict. Time is of the essence, or massive bloodshed will follow, something that nobody wants to see." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it's now up to Hamas.
Well, we accepted the deal, as did all the world. It was President Trump's plan. Hamas says that it accepted the deal. Now the onus is on Hamas. This plan consists of 2 parts. The first part is releasing all the hostages. Israel makes a tactical withdrawal, stays in Gaza. And then the second part is meant to demilitarize Gaza and disarm Hamas. That will be negotiated.
Hamas says it may need time to collect the 48 hostages, only 20 of whom are still believed to be alive. Other hurdles include Hamas reportedly demanding Israel release prisoners they refused in the past, including Marwan Barghouti, convicted of multiple murders during the Second Intifada. The terror group also wants a role for the Palestinian Authority in ruling Gaza, another condition Israel has rejected. President Trump told CNN that if Hamas tries to cling to power, it faces complete obliteration. Retired IDF General Amir Avivi tells CBN News he believes the tables turned against Hamas during the last meeting at the White House.
This is exactly what happened in Washington, a realization globally that it's game over, Hamas lost. Even if we don't see yet Hamas laying down the weapons, already lost. The IDF is controlling 80% of Gaza completely. 900,000 people left the city and the city is surrounded. Hamas is done.
And Chris Mitchell joins us now from Jerusalem with more. So, Chris, that retired IDF general says Hamas is done. Is that the general belief of the Israeli government?
Well, Ephraim, I would say not completely. I would say the government would be saying that degraded, yes, defeated and done, not yet. But he does reflect a good understanding of the situation on the ground. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said recently that Gaza City is surrounded. And as he said, the IDF controls 80% of the Gaza Strip right now. And what Hamas controls right now, they're actually fighting within those areas other armed militias that are actually allied with the IDF. But there's still work to be done militarily, or if Hamas will disarm willingly.
What's the thinking there about how Hamas will respond to President Donald Trump's plan in the days ahead?
Well, I think the thinking here, Ephraim, is that they were going to do what they can to survive. They're going to do what they can to delay, to draw out the negotiations. One thing they're trying to do, and we mentioned in that report, trying to get as many high-profile terrorists like Marwan Barghouti and up to 2,000 terrorists. Could these help rebuild their army? One question how will Qatar and Turkey try to make concessions to please Trump, but also help Hamas, quote, be in the picture? These are all nations, Turkey and Qatar, as well as Hamas, part of the Muslim Brotherhood. They would like to clear Israeli withdrawal benchmarks, not just a temporary yellow line. And also they would like to have a veto over who governs Gaza, and they resist any formula that formally excludes it. So they're going to stall. They're going to try to stall the clock, and we'll see what happens and how much patience President Trump will have over perhaps these delaying tactics.
I don't think much patience. Because what they've done really well is, delay. All of a sudden, the integrity of an agreement's on the line. If you put a date out there and then you keep kicking it out, it's kind of like what we do with our budgets. No wonder we're in this shutdown. By the way, did you notice how peaceful everything is? The government's still shut down.
Right. Yeah.
I will say this, it's getting pretty nasty out there. It's pretty serious.
Ugly,
Don't get me wrong, I'm not for it, but on the other hand, it's nice to have government out of our life. All right. Okay, here's a guy that he's never shuts down.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny and breezy with daytime highs near 73 for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville, and near 77 in Wilsonville, with a northeast wind gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Moving down the Willamette Valley, sunny and breezy with daytime highs in the mid-70s from Salem through Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with low temperatures tonight in the mid-40s. Areas of frost this morning across central Oregon, then sunny with highs near 70 in Prineville and mid-60s for Bend and Sun River with a light east wind. Sunny in Boise, Idaho with a high in the mid-60s. Sunny and nice today along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the low 80s for Coos Bay, mid-70s around Port Orford, mid-60s for Brookings, and upper 60s for Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunny and breezy this afternoon in the Rogue Valley and the Klamath Basin, with highs in the low 80s for Grants Pass and Medford, upper 70s in Ashland, and upper 60s in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny and mid-70s today in Wairika, sunny and breezy this afternoon in Redding with a high in the mid-80s, and sunny in Chico and Sacramento with daytime highs near 84. In the Bay Area, sunny with daytime highs in the mid-80s for Santa Rosa and Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high near 81 and a light west wind, and today in San Jose, sunny and near 84. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, look at that. It's really, we have such clear skies. Man. The pre-sunrise has made the sky light up. Yeah. And then we still have the nighttime lights. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we call home. Our backyard, better known as the Rogue Valley.
All right, well, packaged food. A huge part of our modern lifestyle. It's something that may be in the sights of one particular guy with the initials RFK Jr., packaged food. Well, obviously it is something really big in our diets, and a trailblazer emerged in the packaged food industry on this day in history.
It was during the Panic of 1893, one of the worst economic downturns of the 19th century, that a struggling flour miller named Tom Amidon came up with an idea that would change breakfast forever. Working at the Grand Forks Diamond Milling Company in North Dakota, Amidon suggested packaging a simple wheat farina as a hot cereal. The result was cream of wheat, named for its smooth white appearance. Introduced at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, it quickly caught on with consumers looking for an affordable, filling breakfast.
By 1897, production had moved to Minneapolis, and cream of wheat became part of Nabisco Foods. Its popularity not only helped launch a brand, but also signaled the rise of the modern packaged food industry. 132 years later, cream of wheat is still a staple at American breakfast tables, a reminder of how one miller's ingenuity turned hard times into lasting success.
Cream of wheat. I didn't realize they were the first, and it came from a town real close to where I was reared in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Started the packaged food industry. Are you kidding me? But anyway, so do you eat cream of wheat?
I remember having it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the original name?
Cream of wheat. Oh, it's farina.
Farina.
Yeah, farina. It's like a wheat product.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but anyway, it's still out there.
There you go.
Yeah, add some little sugar on it, brown sugar and some cinnamon. It's good.
Do you take into consideration of when you're reading the scripture, opening your mind to truth?
Oh, that's an interesting approach.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Sharonda Cooper from Crossway shares that. Here's what she had to say.
Just recently, I had a conversation with someone, and I asked her how she reads her Bible. And as she started to answer the question, I realized that no one's ever really shown her how to read her Bible in order to understand what is true and to be able to discern what is true. So for example, she said that what she'll do is she'll read through a passage of scripture in the morning, and then at the end, she said, I think about how I feel, and then I act on that. And I explained to her that feelings are good. God created us to feel. So first of all, it's not bad to have feelings. God knows we have feelings. But our feelings aren't always very reliable. Sometimes our feelings tell us lies. And so what I explained to her is that when we go to scripture, we are learning truth. And so your feelings, you always have to take your feelings and then go to scripture so that you can understand if your feelings are really telling you the truth about who God is, about who you are, about your circumstances, about your future, about the level of control you have over your life. The only reason we know the answers to those questions is because we have his revealed word. So what I do, and what I would tell anyone to do, any believer to do this, when you have feelings, don't just stop at the feelings. It's okay to have the feelings, but then go to the text, go to scripture, and do this daily. Daily go to scripture, because over time what you're doing is you're learning who God is, so that hopefully as you mature in Christ, you will get to the point where you'll be able to immediately discern whether or not your feelings are aligned with Scripture. Are they telling you the truth about who God is? Are your feelings telling you the truth about who you are and the level of control you have over the future? Because if not, I told my sweet daughter is 21 years old, and when she was a little girl, I had a conversation with her when she was maybe middle school age. And I said, if you ever read your Bible and think, I'm not really sure if that's right, stop right there and just remind yourself that God is right about everything. So if you have a feeling and you're not really sure, you go to scripture. He's always right. He always tells you what's true. So we take our feelings, and it's okay to have them. God knows we have them. So we confess our feelings to him and talk to him about them, but we go straight to scripture to find out if our feelings are telling us the truth or not.
That's an interesting approach.
Well, are you teachable? Can you do you subordinate your biases to the truth of Scripture? Or do you look to Scripture to validate your biases?
Yeah, and are those, biases obviously are wrapped up in your feelings, and obviously feelings can sometimes get in the way of truth.
Yeah.
We see a lot of that.
Yeah.
Oof.
Well, I'm feeling like I could use a cowboy scramble this morning.
Okay. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it too, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
For years, the Dove has been bringing you encouragement, information, and hope. Now we're stepping into a brand new era. October 8th, join us for the grand reveal of our new state-of-the-art studio that you've helped make possible, designed to serve you better with a commitment to excellence. It's a new chapter for theDove, but the same mission with a bold new look. Mark your calendar, October 8th, live between 6 and 9 a.m., and see the difference.
You feel most alive where you feel most at home. And this is living. Bobcat, the company that changed the way the world works, is coming home with a quality compact tractor built to match your quality of life. This isn't work you have to do. It's work you get to do. So get it done in a tractor that's all you. See your dealer or visit bobcat.com.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Lizer with Lizer Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
All right, welcome back. Ooh, we'll get going here. I have Frank Gaffney on. He's always interesting to have around on Focus Today. And I did ask him, he was in the Reagan administration. That's how far back he goes. Quite the guy, quite accomplished guy, very much on security and things like that. I asked him about Secretary of War now, Pete Hegseth's meeting with all of the brass coming to one location. And he gets up there very animated for about 45 minutes and says, hey, it's a new day in town. Here's what the deal is. So I asked Frank, what did you think of that meeting? Here's what he had to say.
Perry, I thought that what Pete said and how he delivered that speech was one of the finest acts of oratory, as well as leadership, in my memory in this country, certainly, if not throughout the history of it. He spoke of a return to what has made the United States military successful, impactful, and victorious over successive generations by pointing out the things that we've been doing in the past, 2 generations or so that have made us, at best, successful in sort of achieving a draw in successive conflicts. At worst, losing wars, and notably, I would say, and again, not because of the military itself, but because of how it was employed and the failure of leadership on the civilian side, but Afghanistan. And I think that informed by his own personal experience in combat, albeit as a relatively young officer, relatively junior officer, but nonetheless also very much imbued with his study, his close study, and his extensive writings and reporting on what it takes to win. Ideally to deter in the first instance, but failing that, to win in conflict with enemies of this country, which, as he noted, are seemingly abundant, growing, and on the march. And I think that his call to the men and women who were in the audience and to the millions of others serving in the uniform of the United States military at the moment was both extraordinarily well delivered and powerful in terms of its call for a return to the warrior ethos specifically, but also very much needed.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and that's what he's doing. And he did that before the Naval Academy over the weekend as well. He kind of got on him. He said, hey, look, have a nice day, but this whole stuff with DEI is out of here.
Yeah. It's back to the basics.
Back to the basics.
Yeah, military readiness. What a concept.
What a concept.
Yeah, well, it's no secret that I am fascinated with history, and especially history that's still working. And here's a case in point. In York, England, a piece of history is still turning in the wind. The Holgate Windmill, Britain's oldest surviving brick tower mill, has been grinding grain since 1770, more than 250 years. Built by George Wadd, the mill once stood in open countryside. Today, it sits on a roundabout in the middle of a housing development, yet it remains the only working 5-sailed, double-shuttered windmill in England. After falling silent for nearly 90 years, the mill was brought back to life in 2001 thanks to a local preservation society. Now, 35 volunteers keep its sails spinning, producing wholemeal flour sold in shops around York. Head miller Steve Potts says it's about more than bread. It's about keeping alive the dying art of milling. His words, "Our plan is to keep its legacy going forever." And in Holgate, the legacy is alive and well, a historic landmark still feeding its community, one bag of flour at a time. And this really made me think of our own historic mill.
Right, our own Butte Creek Mill. We almost lost it.
Yes, we did.
On Christmas Day several years ago, but it's been restored and it's out there, and their pancake mix is to die for.
I have a bag of it in my pantry right now. I was just looking at it this morning.
There you go. Good stuff all the way around. All right, here's a great scripture for you today. Numbers 6:24 through 26. By the way, this is often quoted. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. And remember this. The peace that the Lord gives you is not understood by the world.
Amen.
You could be in the middle of the storm and have peace. Let God step to the bow of your boat, stretch his hand out over the storm and say, "Peace, be still." And there was a great calm. We'll be right back.
You're everything to me. I'm nothing without you. You're everything I love.
For years, the Dove has been bringing you encouragement, information, and hope. Now we're stepping into a brand new era. October 8th, join us for the grand reveal of our new state-of-the-art studio that you've helped make possible, designed to serve you better with a commitment to excellence. It's a new chapter for the Dove, but the same mission with a bold new look. Mark your calendar, October 8th, live between 6 and 9 a.m., and see the difference.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Clean water is essential to your good health. Ultra Pure Purified Water has been delivering purified, healthy drinking water to the Rogue Valley since 1995. Locally owned and family run, Ultra Pure Purified Water uses a multi-stage process ensuring your delivery of water is 99.8% pure, so your family stays hydrated and healthy. Online at ultrapurewaterinc.com or call 541-734-0828. 541-734-0828.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express, breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Plagued by injuries early in her athletic career.
Sometimes there were just doubts in my head, like, is this really what I'm supposed to do?
Tessa Johnson found the courage to return to the court by playing for an audience of one.
I live through him, like he lives through me. And I just hope that, like, I can plant seeds in other people, like use my platform and just remember who I am, who I'm actually playing for.
Monday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV.
Put your gold in an envelope, mail it. Hopefully you get a check. No.
Father and Son Jewelry. Bring your gold in, we weigh it, we check it, we make you the offer.
Or turn your something old into something new. Whether it's an idea, a picture, or a piece you want to duplicate, we can melt it down and make it for you.
If you find your perfect piece in store, trade your something old for something new, and you always get a little extra.
Visit Father and Son Jewelry, 5 generations of family in Medford. Counting down, just 2 days to go to unveiling of the Dove's new studio.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you notice how well you slept last night with the full moon?
Oh, yeah.
Jerry's here. That's all that counts. He's like a full moon all the time.
What a thought. I don't even want to think of that.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyway, good morning to you. The other reason you slept so well is the government's still shut down.
Yeah, how about that?
How long do you think it's going to go?
Oh, yeah.
Any wagering going on out there?
Yeah, no, they're not even getting close yet.
No, I have a question. I don't know the answer to it.
Okay.
Since the government shut down, obviously some people aren't getting paid. Does that include the members of Congress?
That's a great question.
Are they getting their check and everybody else that works for the government doesn't?
They always get their check, don't they?
Well, I just thought I'd ask.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Just thought I'd, put a little salt in the wound this morning.
You did it. You did it.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Monday. Beautiful fall weather out there. Drive carefully. Remember, school's in. And the speed through a school zone is
20 miles per hour. Yes.
Not 21, not 20.1.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And may the friendly cop give you a ticket.
Right. Drive like your kids go to that school.
There you go. Be careful out there.
Right.
Good morning to you. Beautiful weather. Going to warm up for a couple of days, at least for about an hour or two, and then it cools off again.
Yeah.
Back in the 40s tonight again last night, so kind of those short days and cool nights. Really beautiful fall weather. What's up? What do you got?
Well, first of all, it's National Child Health Day, recognizing the care and guidance children need to go strong and healthy. And, all parents, that's we've all been up in the middle of the night with our parents, with our kids, I should say, and the maladies that they go through. It's interesting. I was listening to a commercial, and one dad says, I sat through a soccer game when my child's team got beat 15-0, and I sat through the whole thing. And the other dad says, I got up in the middle of the night and I sucked snot through a straw out of my child's nose so they could breathe. And the dad says, you win. They were basically comparing who had done the most for their kids. And the dad that sits through the soccer game goes, yeah, you win.
Oh, no. That's TMI. That's a word picture.
That is like a public service commercial running on radios right now.
There you go.
And I've heard it so many times I could repeat it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Whatever. Don't you have those little bubble things,
Yeah. Oh, you have those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a great point.
There you go.
What are you doing that for? Well, we didn't have one. I had to use the straw.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Okay. That is love.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. Love.
National Coaches Day. It honors the men and women who inspire us to work harder and do our best. And it's on display. We're in that second wave of watching kids play sports, especially as they're first starting in sports. And oftentimes you go into whether it's volleyball or soccer or you fill in the blank, and your kids are brand new at it. The coaches are instrumental in so many things, obviously teaching them the skills, but sometimes just the basic concept of what that game is all about.
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing, and a lot of patience is required. And our hats off to you, coaches.
Well, yeah, and the coordination at Teach Kids is wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Oh, just the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to make big decisions, not only trying to get everybody into the game and get them all to play, but when to practice, what to practice, coordinating with the parents.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big job.
So when your grandkids are coming to the sideline, they've been put out for a little bit. Do you give them a bite of a Snicker bar or something?
I have stuff in my pocket
Oh,
all
do
the
you?
time.
Good.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, sugar 'em up,
Grandpa,
Dad.
Grandpa, do you have gum? Yeah, I got gum. There you go. No Skittles, but I got gum. I miss the Skittles. Anyway, also National German American Day, celebrating the German heritage millions of Americans claim in our country. And of course, we think of some of the, when I think of nationalities, I think of food. Like der Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah.
It's German food. Well, yeah, because it's it's National.
You know my new
German
favorite
American
series
Day.
on TV?
What?
Somebody Feed Phil.
Oh, really? Yeah, you
Have you
mentioned
seen it?
this.
Have you
No,
seen-
I
Oh.
haven't seen this.
He goes all over the world. He's just a comedian, but then he found this food gig, and now it's turned out to be unbelievable. And his brother, who is a videographer, he films everything.
Okay.
And the production value of this program is through the roof. It is top quality.
Okay.
But last night we watched him in Georgia, which is just south of Russia.
Okay. That Georgia.
That Georgia.
Okay.
Georgia on my mind.
Okay.
And then he went to Australia and he visited all these restaurants. And oh gosh. Anyway, good. It's all about food.
Okay. Well, and it's amazing how much food programming there is available on TV these days. Could we ever have seen this? And who were the pioneers other than like Julia Childs? And remember the Galloping Gourmet?
Yeah.
Yeah, those folks.
And Emerald. Whatever happened to Emerald?
Emerald. Bam.
Bam.
Yeah, you still see him once in a while in commercials.
He does have a chain of restaurants.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if any bamming's going on in there.
Okay, well, all right. Well, it's also National Consignment Day, celebrating consignment as the smart, sustainable way to shop, earn money, and extend the life cycle of your items. And boy, there are a lot of different platforms for buying all kinds of stuff these days.
Craigslist,
eBay, Facebook Marketplace. And you know what? I don't know how, the algorithms thing works and how our devices are listening to us. But I just mentioned an item again to Pam over the weekend, and all of a sudden, it's popping up on my social media. It's popping up on my, on the shopping thing.
So did you buy it?
Not yet, but it's like
gonna?
it keeps popping. It's probably going to keep popping up until I do, huh?
Well, look for the right price.
Okay. It is also National Noodle Day. We have one thing to eat. Technically, a noodle is just some unleavened dough that's rolled out and cut into shapes.
Oh, that's my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, enjoy. Okay, what kind of noodle do you want?
Oh, well, my favorite is still the angel here.
Yeah. Right. Well, there's an interesting combo. It looks like ramen noodles with a fried egg over the top. Hey, wait a minute. That's what's for breakfast.
Yeah, ramen noodles are good, especially if they got a lot of soy sauce on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, all noodles are good. We like them all. So, okay. I have a useless fun fact this morning. It's just kind of a bizarre fact. And if you start writing out all the numbers, okay, you go 1, O-N-E, T, T-W-O, 2, T-H-R-E-E, 3, and you write all the way up through the hundreds to 1,000, the first time you're going to use a letter A is when you get to 1,000.
Really?
So from the numbers 1 to 999, there isn't a single A in one of those words.
Wow.
How about that? And
so should I start this now?
Yeah, start now. I was doing it all night last night.
Were you?
Trying to figure out if this was, I'm just trying to verify the truth.
Okay.
And it's true.
That would be a good way to how to discipline a grandchild.
Yeah. You keep writing numbers until you write a number with the letter A in it.
Yeah.
You just sit in that corner and start writing. Grandpa used to like you.
How about 800?
Well, we don't have to spell it the right way.
There we go.
Okay. That's it. That's all I got.
That's pretty good. Well, here's a guy that uses his noodle a lot.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny and breezy with daytime highs near 73 for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville, and near 77 in Wilsonville with a northeast wind gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Moving down the Willamette Valley, sunny and breezy with daytime highs in the mid-70s from Salem through Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with low temperatures tonight in the mid-40s. Areas of frost this morning across central Oregon, then sunny with highs near 70 in Prineville and mid-60s for Bend and Sun River with a light east wind. Sunny in Boise, Idaho with a high in the mid-60s. Sunny and nice today along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the low 80s for Coos Bay, mid-70s around Port Orford, mid-60s for Brookings, and upper 60s for Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunny and breezy this afternoon in the Rogue Valley and the Klamath Basin, with highs in the low 80s for Grants Pass and Medford, upper 70s in Ashland, and upper 60s in Klamath Falls. Into Northern California, sunny and mid-70s today in Wairika, sunny and breezy this afternoon in Redding with a high in the mid-80s, and sunny in Chico and Sacramento with daytime highs near 84. In the Bay Area, sunny with daytime highs in the mid-80s for Santa Rosa and Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high near 81 and a light west wind, and today in San Jose, sunny and near 84. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a beautiful picture of the south end of our valley, clear skies. No wonder it's going to bump 80 degrees today. And it's so clear, the sun's not even up, but it looks like it's daylight.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice out there. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, he is the shepherd, and we are the sheep. That's right. How do you feel about that? Not everybody's tickled with that one. Ken Davis has got some really... Well, Ken Davis grew up on a farm. He goes, wait a minute. We had sheep. I know what sheep are. I don't really like that comparison.
They're really dumb.
But take heart. As Pastor Greg Laurie points out, God loves his sheep, and he loves you.
Did you read that news story about 300 sheep, I think it was in China, who walked around in a circle for 12 days. It was a story in the news everywhere, and there's this video of this sheep just walking around in a circle. People were trying to figure out, why were the sheep doing that? Who can explain this mystery? I'll explain it for you right now. Why did the sheep walk in a circle for 12 days? Simple answer, because they're stupid. Yes, it's true. These are not smart animals. And it's interesting that the Bible compares us to sheep. Because we're just like them. The Bible says all we like sheep have gone astray. We've turned everyone to his own way. So the way the whole circle of sheep probably got started is one sheep said, I'm going to walk around in a circle. Who wants to join me? The other sheep said, let's go, everybody. We're going in a circle. It won't be that bad. Let's go. And on they went. And it's interesting because in Psalm 23, David writes, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. Then he says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. So, a shepherd of that time would have two primary instruments, a staff, that long crooked instrument to pull in the wayward sheep, and a rod, which is basically a club. He would use it to discipline a wayward sheep and to also deal with predators. Listen, God loves you so much that he is going to keep you in line. And when you go astray, he'll use that staff. Now come on back. Now don't do that anymore. You're not listening to me. And he might have to use the rod. Whack! Are you listening to me? I'm doing this for your own good. God loves you. And disciplining your life from God is a reminder that he loves you. So remember to walk closely with him. He has a plan and a purpose for your life that is better than any plan you have for yourself. Something to think about.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Well, sheep are dumb.
Yeah.
For those of us who in 4-H and we had sheep, they're really dumb. Yeah. You could have, this is no joke, you could have a 25-foot gate open.
Okay, yeah, right.
And 8 feet of fence, and they'll run into that fence every time. Our good friend, Dr. Kevin Lehman, wrote a book called The Way of the Shepherd.
Yeah.
And it's a book that's only about that thick. You could read it within a couple of hours. I have it somewhere in my life, probably at home, called The Way of the Shepherd. And it's a management book. It's for people who manage people.
Right.
Okay. And it talks about this group of sheep. And there was the sheep going in the circle, but there was always 2 that left. There was always 2 that kept running outside the gate. The rest of them would feed inside the fence area. The other 2 would always try to escape. So finally, a guy came out, and he was telling his friend about it, and he comes out, and he said, where are those 2 sheep that kept trying to get out? And while the rest of them are there, I noticed the herd's down by 2. And he goes, well, come here, I'll show you. And he goes into the barn, and he walks in the barn, and there's a locker, and he opens it up, and they're hanging in there. So sooner or later.
Farm life.
Farm life. All right.
Oh, golly.
There you
yes.
go. We'll be right back. It's a true story. Well, it's in the book. It's in the book. The point being is, if you have wayward staff members, okay?
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to the headlines. All right, top stories.
I'm looking in that locker. Who's hanging in there?
All right, top stories this morning. Well, listen, the deadline has come and gone for Hamas to completely accept the 20-point deal, peace plan that the president has made. And apparently, Hamas has effectively rejected the 20-point ceasefire proposal, refusing to disarm. Part of it was they give up the hostages. The other part is they disarm. Well, that part they're saying no to. And so the president said to Hamas, face complete can I say this? Annihilation. I'll go with that word.
Yeah.
Complete annihilation if you refuse to relinquish power in Gaza. So this is where it's at. I do know a lot of mobilization took place over the weekend. You'll hear more about this on CBN News in an attempt, or at least maybe an anticipation, of the release of hostages or the exchange of hostages. But now they're not willing to give up power. That could be the violation of the deal.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say is no deal has integrity if you keep pushing the deadlines around.
Right.
All right. This story is very disturbing, but our DHS, Department of Homeland Security people, were almost ambushed over the weekend in a area just south of Chicago called the Broadview area near Chicago. And apparently they were in their car, and they were boxed in by 10 other cars. And one of the DHS jumped out with a vehicle and were faced with one of the drivers having a semi-automatic weapon. Folks, this is pretty bad. Now, this is in Chicago. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem was driving through the area, and they went to a government building to use the restroom, and they were denied.
How does that work? How can you get denied, and how can they deny Kristi Noem access?
I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. Folks, I cannot believe. Well, let me just say this carefully. We need to really investigate who these people are that are protesting.
Yeah, and where's the money coming from?
And where's the money coming from? They seem to be so well organized.
Right.
So
I have a question. Okay, so you got 10 cars come out there. They box in the agents. Somebody gets out with an automatic weapon. How many arrests were made?
I don't know yet, and I don't know how. I don't know how they got out there. Obviously, they have phones and radios, and people came in.
They're very organized.
But something is really, really, really bad here.
Yeah.
This is insurrection, and this is anarchy, and we're trying to water it down. It's just a bad day.
Yeah.
This is serious as a heart attack. And then all of a sudden, Kristi Noem comes out and finds out that there's a bounty on ICE agents' heads. They will be paid $2,000. Whoever kidnaps them will be paid $2,000 to kidnap them, and $10,000 if they kill them. Who are these people, and where are they getting the money?
Follow the money. Follow the money.
So if they were able to come up with this information, they have a lead on something.
Something, yes.
Wow. So that's what's happening. The other big story is, and we'll get to it in detail, but over the weekend in Portland, the guard's going in, the guard gets sent back because of a court order. Then the president reaches down into California, sends the California guard up, and now another court order came out several hours ago from a judge pushing those guys back. So we have chaos in Portland over federal buildings that are being terrorized every night. And this is, I just don't understand why the citizens are, it's almost like the citizens want it.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point.
It's just like, what?
Yes.
What are you doing up there?
Yes.
Anyway, we'll have that story for you coming up in a little bit. So that's some of the top stories today, and that's just the way it is. Otherwise, the government shut down.
Yeah.
So here's the question. Does Congress still get paid when the government shut down?
I have a feeling they do.
And if they do, how hypocritical is that?
Well, it's hypocritical as many of the things that members of Congress do.
Okay, just thought I'd ask.
Yeah.
You're Jerry Bill and I'm not. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Oh, no.
You gave your life for mine to have me by your side.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Black Flag Armory offers top brand affordable rifles, shotguns, handguns, and gear. We also offer an array of classes emphasizing safety, self-defense, and accuracy. We strive to provide the absolute best possible experience when buying a firearm. Family friendly for every skill level, Black Flag Armory in Midford and Grants Pass. Online at blackflagarms.com or 541-499-0779. 541-499-0779.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated, pet friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Good morning. Happy Monday to you. 21 minutes past the hour. Well, actually, the big stories in our own backyard just made national news over the weekend. So just kind of give you a little bit of a recap. For the last month or so at the ICE buildings and other federal buildings in Portland, there's been protesters and rioters out there for over a month. And they usually come out at dark and they riot all night long and they get pretty rowdy out there and they break things and destroy things. And apparently, the Portland police are told to just manage it, but don't do anything about it, I guess. In the meantime, it's gotten so bad that President Trump decided to send the Oregon National Guard up there. 166 volunteered to go. And they get up there, and then late Friday or Saturday morning, another judge orders an injunction that stops it from using the National Guard, the Oregon National Guard, from going in and protecting the federal buildings. So the president says, okay, well, then I'll send the California National Guard in.
Right,
and the California Guard was on their way. I think 100 and something were there, 99 were on their way. And as of about 4 or 5 hours ago, another injunction came from another judge that stopped them. Okay? In the meantime, the police union is now saying something is wrong here because the police union is saying that the orders coming from the mayor's office to the police not to assist ICE is against the union's vow that you take to become a cop. So all these struggles are going on. The question has to be asked, why is Portland tolerating this at any level is beyond me. Well, then, in the meantime, this has become a real power struggle. Right now, Governor Kotek is winning. And here's what she had to say.
I received intelligence that 101 federalized California National Guard members arrived in Oregon by plane and were then sent to Camp Withicum. That's the facility operated by the Oregon Military Department. It is our understanding that there are an additional 99 California Guard members en route today So, assuming a total of 200 service members from the California National Guard will shortly completely be in the state of Oregon. However, my office has received no official notification or correspondence from the federal government regarding this action by the president. This action appears to be intentional to circumvent yesterday's ruling by a federal judge. This afternoon, I sent a message to Northern Command directing them to obey the October 4th court ruling from yesterday and take no further action regarding deploying troops in Oregon. I also directed that those troops that will be at Camp Withicum should be restricted to that facility and that the California National Guard troops should be sent home as soon as possible.
Okay, so the bottom line is let things continue to deteriorate at night in front of these federal buildings. It just becomes a constitutional interpretation as to does the president have the right, the power, the authority to send in the National Guard to protect federal buildings? That's all this is about, is federal buildings.
Right.
And for some reason, the governor and other people, the mayor and other people up there are saying, no, we don't need them. This isn't a problem. And yet it's been going on for weeks. And Chicago has been going on for years. So it also has exposed an ambiguity within the law, and that is the Supreme Court has ruled on these district judges that you cannot make decisions related to national security. That's probably going to be the gray area of the argument between national security and what's going on at a federal building in a state.
Yeah.
That's probably going to be part of it. But in the meantime, a lot of these lower courts cases have been slapped down. But there's no consequences for continuing on.
Right.
And that's what we got going on here.
Right.
So we have an ambiguity within our own system that if the Supreme Court makes a ruling, you can still deny it, thumb your nose at it, and keep going.
Right, yeah.
It's really, and I just don't, for the life of me, I just don't understand why Portland doesn't want a safe, clean, beautiful city returned to themselves. Why are they letting anarchy rule the city? We can call it a blue city, but really, this is what you want. This is what you had. This is what you got. And you want this over what you had?
Yeah, well,
it makes no sense.
You know, it's a sad statement on where we are as a society right now, that we've become so divided that you will have a certain amount of the residents of Portland who are saying, no, this is an affront against these federal institutions that we oppose, i.e. ICE. So these are our people, and this is our cause, and we support them. And I think it's as simple as that. And it's sad. It's sad.
So let me ask you a question, somewhat rhetorical.
Yeah, okay.
Is now Portland, Chicago, I guess we could name some others, San Francisco.
Sure.
Are they being ruled, are they now socialist cities?
Oh, boy. That's a great question.
Are they now, in the full definition of socialism, are they now socialist cities? Because they're embracing anarchy.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of crazy. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street for a Monday morning. No, am I doing that right? Yeah, Monday morning, Wall Street.
Got it.
I'm a little ahead of myself. Thank you, Preston. He's a cool dude. The Dow's off, doesn't like what's going on. 294 points down this morning at 46,463. The Nas up a little bit, 82 and a third, and S&P pushing a little over 3 points. So kind of a mixed bag at the ringing of the bell. That is taking gold, all-time high in gold. Look at that. Gold is pushing $4,000 an ounce. Whoa.
Yeah.
Silver's at 48.45, and crude oil's back up a few pennies, 65.53.
Well, we saw the other day that there is a portal, a website basically, where you can get, where you will be getting Pfizer drugs at preferred nation costs.
Yeah.
The website is trumprx.com.
Gosh.
But when you saw this, Perry, we know that this is all about Pfizer. Pfizer's the drug company that's participating. What about the others?
American Drug Company,
yeah,
not giving its hometown favorite status.
And they're just one in a long line, a long list of these companies. And what about the other drug companies? Is this just about Pfizer? Well, Dr. Mehmet Oz spoke with Newsmax's National Report about the accusation that President Trump's deal with Pfizer blindsides other drug companies.
Well, I can't elaborate on a specific company, but obviously we've reached out to all the major companies. The letter that the president wrote over the summer with frustration saying these negotiations aren't going fast enough were sent to 17 companies, all the big companies you would imagine. But we want to make sure that we preserve innovation at the same time we get good pricing. So I'm sensitive to the fact that if we just put what socialist countries do, which is don't pay for the medications, they'll stop innovating and we'll stop curing cancer. So the goal here is to allow companies to get a little more money from other countries and in return charge us significantly less. We've got other tools to make sure that what I'm saying will happen and come to fruition. And we believe that eventually most, if not all, of the pharmaceutical companies will come in and agree to work with us on everything ranging from drugs for psoriasis and autoimmune problems, intestinal issues, cancers, Alzheimer's, weight loss. I mean, there's a whole bunch of ailments that we are actually right on the cusp of making huge inroads on. And many we've actually gotten well into the success category. I mean, the chances of surviving cancer in America, advanced cancer, is significantly higher than other countries for this reason. And I treasure that, and I'm going to protect that as the head of CMS. But I want to make sure that with the right price for these medications. Certainly, if you're willing to sell it, the same medication to another country, you should be willing to sell it to our people as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it just shows you the gouging.
Yeah.
The other problem is, I would say the quantity and the quality and the purity of a lot of our pharmaceuticals are still being made in China, and can we trust it?
Great question.
I'm not trying to be a fearmonger here.
No, great question.
It's just that now there is obviously traces of imperfection in some of the stuff coming out of there, not to mention the fact that China is the #1 producer of fentanyl on the world, killing millions of people. We have to solve this problem with China, and I think the best thing you do is create incentives for them to leave and come back here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just dry up the market. That's what you do. It's nice to see Dr. Oz, but I kind of miss him on TV. He was kind of like the guru of.
Kind of was, wasn't he?
Yeah, you know, he had a good gig going there for a while.
Yeah.
He was very controversial.
Oh, definitely.
I wonder how he and RFK get along.
Yeah. Would you like?
I wonder if they're having lunch and comparing notes.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting. I never thought of that.
I would like to interview Dr. Oz. I think it would be fun to talk to him. He ran for the Senate and got beat up pretty bad.
Yeah, Fetterman beat him up pretty bad.
Yeah, of all people to get beat up by.
Right.
Okay, but anyway, I'd like to talk to him about where was he really, knowing now, post-COVID, what do you think of COVID now in comparison to what you knew then?
Yeah.
So, kind of interesting. All right, we'll take a quick medical break. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
Men of Southern Oregon, we are thrilled to announce that our next Game Changers, we are bringing in author and speaker Lee Strobel. If you're not familiar with Lee Strobel, he wrote The Case for Faith, The Case for Christ. He is the man behind the movie The Case for Christ, and he's got a new book out called Seeing the Supernatural. Recently, he's been featured on The Sean Ryan Show. He's been featured on Tucker Carlson. A lot of his books address big questions that believers have, and even the unbelieving world, about heaven, about Jesus. Can we trust the resurrection? He was formerly an atheist, and through his research, he came to the faith. I'm super excited for you guys to experience Game Changers at Edgewater Christian Fellowship with Lee Strobel. Get signed up. It's November 2nd, 6 p.m. God bless you guys.
Finding that next great series to binge watch is fun.
but your neck, shoulders, and body don't count that as me time. Hi, I'm Tamara Miller, owner of Organic Element Spa, and I invite you to put down the remote, get off the couch, and schedule yourself some real me or we time with your favorite service, like one of our many massages, couples massages, or facials. Your health, safety, and comfort are always top priority with us at Organic Element Spa. We can't wait to see you. Book your appointment today.
All right, welcome back at 26 minutes before the hour on this beautiful Monday morning. Beautiful fall weather out there. A little warmer today and tomorrow, then it backs down again. In the meantime, as you know, the 20-point peace plan has been put forth and apparently has been accepted. Even Hamas accepted it late Friday. But now we're down to the point where they have to perform, and they're saying no to giving up and disarming. What does that mean? And is that a violation? Who knows? Let's check in with CBN News Watch and get caught up.
This is CBN News Watch.
It is Monday, the 6th of October. We're going to begin this half hour in the Middle East, where negotiators from Israel and Hamas are working in Cairo on President Donald Trump's plan to end the war in Gaza and free the hostages. The president is urging them to move fast, posting time is of the essence to avoid more bloodshed. But while Hamas has said it is prepared to release all of the hostages, some major obstacles still remain. CBN's Chris Mitchell reports now from Jerusalem.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio told Fox News Sunday he's hopeful the hostages may be coming home.
I think that we are the closest we have been in a very long time to having no hostages held by Hamas, either living or deceased. The second part of this, and it's going to be a much tougher part of it, is what happens after that? Who's going to run Gaza moving forward? It can't be Hamas. It can't be a terrorist organization.
President Trump sounded positive on Truth Social and impatient. He wrote, "I am told that the first phase should be completed this week, and I am asking everyone to move fast. I will continue to monitor this centuries-old conflict. Time is of the essence, or massive bloodshed will follow, something that nobody wants to see." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says it's now up to Hamas.
Well, we accepted the deal, as did all the world. It was President Trump's plan. Hamas says that it accepted the deal. Now the onus is on Hamas. This plan consists of two parts. The first part is releasing all the hostages. Israel makes a tactical withdrawal, stays in Gaza. And then the second part is meant to demilitarize Gaza and disarm Hamas. That will be negotiated.
Hamas says it may need time to collect the 48 hostages, only 20 of whom are still believed to be alive. Other hurdles include Hamas reportedly demanding Israel release prisoners they refused in the past, including Marwan Barghouti, convicted of multiple murders during the Second Intifada. The terror group also wants a role for the Palestinian Authority in ruling Gaza, another condition Israel has rejected. President Trump told CNN that if Hamas tries to cling to power, it faces complete obliteration. Retired IDF General Amir Avivi tells CBN News he believes the tables turned against Hamas during the last meeting at the White House.
This is exactly what happened in Washington, a realization globally that it's game over, Hamas lost. Even if we don't see yet Hamas laying down the weapons, already lost. The IDF is controlling 80% of Gaza completely. 900,000 people left the city and the city is surrounded. Hamas is done.
And Chris Mitchell joins us now from Jerusalem with more. So, Chris, that retired IDF general says Hamas is done. Is that the general belief of the Israeli government?
Well, Ephraim, I would say not completely. I would say the government would be saying that degraded, yes, defeated and done, not yet. But he does reflect a good understanding of the situation on the ground. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said recently that Gaza City is surrounded. And as he said, the IDF controls 80% of the Gaza Strip right now. And what Hamas controls right now, they're actually fighting within those areas other armed militias that are actually allied with the IDF. But there's still work to be done militarily, or if Hamas will disarm willingly.
What's the thinking there about how Hamas will respond to President Donald Trump's plan in the days ahead?
Well, I think the thinking here, Ephraim, is that they were going to do what they can to survive. They're going to do what they can to delay, to draw out the negotiations. One thing they're trying to do, and we mentioned in that report, trying to get as many high-profile terrorists like Marwan Barghouti and up to 2,000 terrorists. Could these help rebuild their army? One question how will Qatar and Turkey try to make concessions to please Trump, but also help Hamas, quote, be in the picture? These are all nations, Turkey and Qatar, as well as Hamas, part of the Muslim Brotherhood. They would like to clear Israeli withdrawal benchmarks, not just a temporary yellow line. And also they would like to have a veto over who governs Gaza, and they resist any formula that formally excludes it. So they're going to stall. They're going to try to stall the clock, and we'll see what happens and how much patience President Trump will have over perhaps these delaying tactics.
Well, I just think this is wearing pretty thin, pretty fast. All right. Hey, beautiful weather out there. Isn't that a gorgeous day? I think what we ought to do, since the government shut down, let's just shut down everything.
Whoa.
Let's just kind of go on vacation.
Okay.
Did we ever find out, is Congress being paid while the government shut down?
That's a great question, and my gut instinct says yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's go to a guy whose gut instinct's pretty good when it comes to weather.
A look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Today in northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunny and breezy with daytime highs near 73 for Vancouver, Portland, and McMinnville, and near 77 in Wilsonville, with a northeast wind gusting up to 24 miles per hour. Moving down the Willamette Valley, sunny and breezy with daytime highs in the mid-70s from Salem through Albany, Corvallis, and Eugene, with low temperatures tonight in the mid-40s. Areas of frost this morning across central Oregon, then sunny with highs near 70 in Prineville and mid-60s for Bend and Sun River with a light east wind. Sunny in Boise, Idaho with a high in the mid-60s. Sunny and nice today along the Oregon coast with daytime high temperatures in the low 80s for Coos Bay, mid-70s around Port Orford, mid-60s for Brookings, and upper 60s for Crescent City, California. In southern Oregon, sunny and breezy this afternoon in the Rogue Valley and the Klamath Basin, with highs in the low 80s for Grants Pass and Medford, upper 70s in Ashland, and upper 60s in Klamath Falls. Into northern California, sunny and mid-70s today in Wairika, sunny and breezy this afternoon in Redding with a high in the mid-80s, and sunny in Chico and Sacramento with daytime highs near 84. In the Bay Area, sunny with daytime highs in the mid-80s for Santa Rosa and Napa, sunny in San Francisco with a high near 81 and a light west wind, and today in San Jose, sunny and near 84. It's a snapshot of your Monday weather from Grange Co-op.
There. If you want to take the day off, go right ahead. I'll write you a note.
Oh, golly. Yeah, okay, thanks anyway. Well, packaged food. What would we do without pre-packaged food? Because we know that food just comes from the supermarket. It comes from Safeway, right?
Along with tomatoes and bananas and onions and everything else. It all comes from Safeway and Albertsons. And
part of our modern lifestyle, and a trailblazer emerged in the packaged food industry on this day in history. It was during the Panic of 1893, one of the worst economic downturns of the 19th century, that a struggling flour miller named Tom Amidon came up with an idea that would change breakfast forever. Working at the Grand Forks Diamond Milling Company in North Dakota, Amidon suggested packaging a simple wheat farina as a hot cereal. The result was cream of wheat, named for its smooth white appearance. Introduced at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, it quickly caught on with consumers looking for an affordable, filling breakfast. By 1897, production had moved to Minneapolis, and cream of wheat became part of Nabisco Foods. Its popularity not only helped launch a brand, but also signaled the rise of the modern packaged food industry. 132 years later, cream of wheat is still a staple at American breakfast tables, a reminder of how one miller's ingenuity turned hard times into a lasting success. And it all started with cream of wheat in Grand Forks, North Dakota. How about that?
Well, it was the one thing my dad would make for us early in the morning.
Oh, really?
I guess because the instructions were on the box.
Yeah. And of course, we couldn't eat cream of wheat without a lot of sugar on top.
Oh, wow, we put a lot of butter and sugar in it.
There you go.
Yeah, it was great. Hey, I just want to let you know, at 10 o'clock tonight, the auction for 71.5, Youth 71.5 shuts down. And so you can go 71, the number 71, and the word 5.org. And there's 15 pages. This is their main fundraiser of the year, which they minister to young people. I mean, outstanding organization doing great work across the board. But I've been having so much fun with it as I do through the years. You don't know what items I have been pushing the numbers on. But the bid will close at 10 o'clock tonight. So there's all kinds of things, from food to services to goodies to all kinds of stuff. You can get your nails done. You can play golf. You can get a hamburger. You can get a pizza. Wow. Somebody will mow your lawn. I don't know what else has come out there, but all kinds of stuff there. So go to 71 and then the word 5, FIVE.org, and you'll see it. And just click on there, go in there today. Tonight at 10, it shuts down. So, Bud, you owe me, buddy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good deal.
So anyway, get it all done. Good morning to you. Do you read the scripture with truth in mind? Can you set your emotions and let the scripture speak to you without your biases getting in the middle of it? Well, Chandra Cooper from Crossway talks about that.
Just recently, I had a conversation with someone, and I asked her how she reads her Bible. And as she started to answer the question, I realized that no one's ever really shown her how to read her Bible in order to understand what is true and to be able to discern what is true. So for example, she said that what she'll do is she'll read through a passage of scripture in the morning, and then at the end, she said, I think about how I feel, and then I act on that. And I explained to her that feelings are good. God created us to feel. So first of all, it's not bad to have feelings. God knows we have feelings. But our feelings aren't always very reliable. Sometimes our feelings tell us lies. And so what I explained to her is that when we go to scripture, we are learning truth. And so your feelings, you always have to take your feelings and then go to scripture so that you can understand if your feelings are really telling you the truth about who God is, about who you are, about your circumstances, about your future, about the level of control you have over your life. The only reason we know the answers to those questions is because we have his revealed word. So what I do, and what I would tell anyone to do, any believer to do this, when you have feelings, don't just stop at the feelings. It's okay to have the feelings, but then go to the text, go to scripture, and do this daily. Daily go to scripture, because over time what you're doing is you're learning who God is, so that hopefully as you mature in Christ, you will get to the point where you'll be able to immediately discern whether or not your feelings are aligned with Scripture. Are they telling you the truth about who God is? Are your feelings telling you the truth about who you are and the level of control you have over the future? Because if not, I told my sweet daughter is 21 years old, and when she was a little girl, I had a conversation with her when she was maybe middle school age. And I said, if you ever read your Bible and think, I'm not really sure if that's right, stop right there and just remind yourself that God is right about everything. So if you have a feeling and you're not really sure, you go to Scripture. He's always right. He always tells you what's true. So we take our feelings, and it's okay to have them. God knows we have them. So we confess our feelings to him and talk to him about them, but we go straight to Scripture to find out if our feelings are telling us the truth or not.
Beautiful. Spot on. Yeah. We'll be right back. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
The big idea of Christianity is to live coram Deo, to live all of one's life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, and to the honor and to the glory of God. Let me say that again. The big idea, coram Deo, is to live one's life in the presence of God, under the authority of God, to the honor and glory of God. That's what it's all about. Jesus said it succinctly this way: if you love me, keep my commandments. Which is to say, if you want to please me, you please me by doing what I have commanded you to do.
A ministry moment on the Dove.
For years, the Dove has been bringing you encouragement, information, and hope. Now we're stepping into a brand new era. October 8th, join us for the grand reveal of our new state-of-the-art studio that you've helped make possible, designed to serve you better with a commitment to excellence. It's a new chapter for the Dove, but the same mission with a bold new look. Mark your calendar, October 8th, live between 6 and 9 a.m., and see the difference.
Good morning to you. As you know, the Secretary of War now, no longer Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, called all the brass in to a big meeting. This was really significant, and said it's a new day in the military. We're going to get buff.
Yeah.
All the woke stuff is out the door. You can take diversity, inclusion, and equity, DEI, you can throw it out the door. All this is gone. We're back to being war ready. And he gave this speech, very spontaneous, walking back and forth, no notes, for about 45 minutes, rocked the place. So I asked Frank Gaffney. Now, Frank's all the way back into the Reagan administration in national security, so he's really well versed in all this. And I said, what did you think of the speech? And here's what he had to say.
I think what that means, and honestly, I personally believe it was one of the most important, if passing, comments in the speech, is we will confront in the next conflict, in all likelihood, enemies within our borders. That is to say, a rear area in traditional military practice, it means a sort of safe echelon that is immune to attack from the enemy, certainly not riddled with enemy forces. And one of the things that I think he has to be referring to is the fact it's not well known. It certainly isn't something that the Trump administration, let alone the Biden administration, has spoken clearly and publicly about to this point. But we are, I believe now, afflicted with something on the order of 100,000 Chinese soldiers in our country. And you add on top of that untold numbers of jihadists, some of whom came in illegally, some of whom have been incubated here for years, some of whom Joe Biden brought in from Afghanistan legally under the pretext that they had helped us in the war. Those were Taliban. The people getting on those planes were Taliban, not our friends. And they were put on American military installations for a time until they got tired of it, and then they just disappeared into the society. So this creates conditions, I think, Perry, in which, sadly, we are very likely to face serious threats to the homeland from forces that are
well within, and part of the anarchy they say is connected to all of this. That sounds very scary stuff, and I don't mean to put people on edge here, but I think at the same time this is being wise as a serpent. And you have to be you're going to have to be proactive in your security and situational awareness and all of those things that are going on right now. But look, this is serious stuff, and I think there is connections here, especially with the stuff that's going on in these cities. You got to be thinking about this.
And thank goodness that we have this emphasis now on getting back to military readiness and not letting views of the culture get embedded into our military. Because, by the way, some of those people who aren't our friends out there, like China and Russia, they don't let that cultural stuff get in the way of their military readiness.
No. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
All right. But you go.
Okay. Well, I don't know. What do I have?
You're
history.
Yeah.
We like history around
all day
here.
long.
And one of the greatest is history that's still working. And here is a great point.
In York, England, a piece of history is still turning in the wind. The Holgate Windmill, Britain's oldest surviving brick tower mill, has been grinding grain since 1770, more than 250 years. Built by George Wadd, the mill once stood in open countryside. Today, it sits on a roundabout in the middle of a housing development, yet it remains the only working five-sailed, double-shuttered windmill in England. After falling silent for nearly 90 years, the mill was brought back to life in 2001 thanks to a local preservation society. Now, 35 volunteers keep its sails spinning, producing wholemeal flour sold in shops around York. Head miller Steve Potts says it's about more than bread. It's about keeping alive the dying art of milling. His words, "Our plan is to keep its legacy going forever." And in Holgate, the legacy is alive and well, a historic landmark still feeding its community one bag of flour at a time.
Oh, it's still working, and it's now a roundabout. What a roundabout. They got a roundabout around the windmill in a neighborhood.
They ought to make it into a kiosk where they can drive through and get something.
That's right, but it really reminds me of our mill.
The beautiful Butte Creek Mill, which is a historic landmark here in Southern Oregon and been around for years, produces some of the finest products on the West Coast. And we almost lost it a couple of Christmases ago. It burned, caught on fire on Christmas Day. I remember Christmas morning getting the call. I jumped up early in the morning, went out there and watched it burn. I just couldn't, I sat there and cried. I couldn't believe it. But through all of that came, it's been rebuilt. It's still on the historic registry. And they're back to making their pancake and waffle mix.
There you go. And on this day of prepackaged food.
Yes.
With cream of wheat.
What else they have? They have these, they got muffin mix.
Yeah.
They got.
They got that. Yeah. They have the great pancake mix.
I
have it sitting in my pantry, and I was looking at it. I thought,
it is the best.
It's no good unless you open it and use it.
Oh, that's right. You got to do it. So it's really good stuff. No, it's a beautiful place. Check it out. It's in Eagle Point. If you've never been there, you can walk across the covered bridge. You can go to there. Next door, you can go to the Antique Museum.
Got the original millstone in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Came around the Horn.
Yeah. Yes.
South of Africa.
Yeah.
All right. Take with you today Numbers 6:24-26. This is a common benediction. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine on you, be gracious to you, and may the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. And the peace it talks about there is the peace that surpasses human understanding. How can you have peace in the storm? Because the Lord has blessed you, and you are his, and he knows you. There's a picture of the day. The sun is up. Hope you are too. What a gorgeous day. Enjoy it.
I'll trade the troubles of this world for your peace inside my soul. I will cast my cares on you.
For years, the Dove has been bringing you encouragement, information, and hope. Now we're stepping into a brand new era. October 8th, join us for the grand reveal of our new state-of-the-art studio that you've helped make possible, designed to serve you better with a commitment to excellence. It's a new chapter for the Dove, but the same mission with a bold new look. Mark your calendar, October 8th, live between 6 and 9 a.m., and see the difference.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
From top home sellers in the Valley with John L. Scott.
to making RV consignment effortless.
American RV, where Team Toner gets your RV sold fast.
Grange Co-op, where big ideas grow.
Men of Southern Oregon, we are thrilled to announce that our next Game Changers, we are bringing in author and speaker Lee Strobel. If you're not familiar with Lee Strobel, he wrote The Case for Faith, The Case for Christ. He is the man behind the movie The Case for Christ, and he's got a new book out called Seeing the Supernatural. Recently, he's been featured on The Sean Ryan Show. He's been featured on Tucker Carlson. A lot of his books address big questions that believers have, and even the unbelieving world, about heaven, about Jesus. Can we trust the resurrection? He was formerly an atheist, and through his research, he came to the faith. I'm super excited for you guys to experience Game Changers at Edgewater Christian Fellowship with Lee Strobel. Get signed up. It's November 2nd, 6 p.m. God bless you guys.
Counting down just 2 days to go to unveiling of the Dove's new studio.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson. And, of course, we've been watching a lot of changes within our, now called the Department of War. It was called the Defense Department. I'm very honored today to have back with us Dr. Josh McConkey. He's a candidate for lieutenant governor there in North Carolina. He's also an Air Force colonel and combat physician, author of an award-winning book called Be the Weight Behind the Spear. Colonel McConkey's military service includes providing critical medical support in both wartime and peacetime operations with over 340 hours of flight surgeon time, 90 combat hours, and a rotary wing medical evacuation and air assault missions there in the Middle East. He is a Air Medal and Army Commendation Medal recipient for his exemplary service during Operation Iraq Freedom. So what an honor to have back with him. The website is weightbehindthespear.com, and there's the picture of the landing page. Dr. McConkey, good to see you again, friend. How are you?
I'm doing very good. Good morning.
Thanks for your time. Boy, that's a lot there. By the way, how's the campaign going?
Going very well. We've got a very strong message. We spoke at Salt and Light 2 weekends ago, and we've got a lot of support here in North Carolina.
Good. When is your election?
We have a long runway for this one. It's 2028.
Okay. Well, good for you. Let's stay connected. Get you across the line. Well, let's get the gear down and get you landed. How's that?
Yeah, thank you.
Go. Oh, so much going on. Well, last week was quite a meeting when the Secretary of War called everybody together. He spoke for quite some time, and then the president came out. What did you think of that meeting?
You know, as a military commander, I just finished a command tour at Andrews Air Force Base. I hold my people to standards. And when you don't see senior leadership being held to those same standards, it really disrupts what we do as a military. So that was literally his come to Jesus moment for those senior leaders. They need to be held to the same standards as everyone else. And to have that top cover from like the actual Secretary of War and the president, I was very happy to hear that.
So how bad is it, or how bad was it?
You know, over the past really 5-6 years, those standards had really slid. A lot of the woke DEI policies had played a part in that. But very simply, when you look at individuals and you look at the combat requirements, so it doesn't matter like what sex you are or where you're from. If you can pick up a 200-pound guy and carry him from the front line to a battalion aid station, then good for you. It doesn't matter like who you are, where you're from, you have to meet that standard or people die. I carried body bags in Iraq. When you talk about our ability to deliver lethality, that is our mission in the military. It's a terrible mission at times. It's very difficult, and I have a strong faith in things that have brought me through that. But if you can't meet the very basic standards, that really takes away the entire mission of our military.
How do you think, if I can use the term, the brass received that, being there as long as they have, taking it from a junior compared to their service time?
The people that meet the standards, who have served in combat and know what we're actually about, our real mission, are extremely happy. The woke individuals and the people that can't meet the standards are probably not very happy right now, and he showed them the door, and thank you for their service.
Is that happening?
I know he has dismissed, there was a senior Navy official in the last couple of days, and I'm certainly not privy to those level of personnel moves, but I know there will definitely be some changes, and they're very welcomed.
So prior to the speech, how would you describe the morale in the military?
Getting much, much better. So you saw a huge difference in our recruiting statistics literally within weeks of Trump being elected. So really November and December of 2024, we exceeded all of the different quotas that we met for Air Force, Army, Navy, and the Marines. We're getting back to a lethal fighting force instead of having, as a military commander, when you sit down and you make me do 20, 30% of my time with things that don't really meet our mission set, we're there to deliver lethality. And on the medical side, I want to make sure those individuals have the best medical care possible. And so I ran an en route patient staging system. We do critical care air transport as well. And when those men and women put themselves in harm, they want to know that they've got the best military and medical resources to take care of them. So when you ask us to do things that aren't a part of that mission, you're wasting our time. You're deteriorating our ability to carry out that mission. And the morale is very good now. And I think with these types of announcements, it's only going to get better.
So those who are kind of caught in the middle, if I can put it that way, those who are in the military, in the transitioning process, et cetera, are they automatically expelled?
So are you referencing like some of the trans individuals that are?
Yes.
So that right there, if you look at it just from a medical standpoint, a lot of people don't realize that these medications, when you're taking hormones, hormone replacement, those are specialty medications and they have to be refrigerated. So literally when you put yourself on that type of medication, there's a lot of areas of the world, you think about the desert, not a lot of refrigeration out there. So by putting yourself on those medications and going through that transition, you have already made yourself non-deployable. And so you're not there to partake the mission that you're training to do. So if you look just from a medical standpoint, these are all disqualifying. You can't serve being on these medications. This is just common sense.
Okay. In the meantime, as you well know, the department was changed from the Department of Defense to Department of War. Obviously, that sent a huge message. What's your take?
So when you look at our adversaries, China and Russia, the previous 4 years under the Biden administration, they're just laughing at us. They see the ridiculousness that we were going through, the different woke ideologies and the focus and the quotas. It was very bizarre. As a military member, I follow I uphold the Constitution and I follow orders. I disagreed a lot with the Biden administration, but I follow orders and I'm a professional. This is the profession of arms. We're finally back to delivering lethality and focusing on that mission set. Boy, I'm so happy with where we're heading.
Doctor, when the Secretary of War, Secretary Hagstaff was giving a speech, he used a term in there that we're not familiar with. I'm sure you are. It's called, and he went on to say, we don't have a rear area. What is that term?
So rear area, you've got your support functions. So everyone is very familiar with the combat forces. Those are the jet aircraft, the Marine Expeditionary Units, artillery and infantry. Well, there's a huge support system behind that. When I talk about being the weight behind the spear of our war fighters, it's our medical, it's logistics, it's, just beans and bullets. Those cooks. I'll tell you some stories from Iraq. So one of the biggest morale builders for us in Iraq was our cook. I don't know where he found them, but every Tuesday or Wednesday night, I can't remember what night of the week, he found a way to get a steak night out there that just helped build morale. And those support, that's the rear. When you talk about those rear elements, that's what they're talking about.
The other emphasis of the speech was physical readiness. This is really interesting. I think we assumed everybody was physically fit. What happened?
Boy, that is a requirement that should have been the standard, but that had not been the standard. Now, at the lower levels, at my squadron level, I prided my squadron on holding them to those standards, and we met those standards. I did have to separate 3 individuals for not meeting fitness standards. And when you hold your people accountable, and then you don't see senior leadership, you see general officers that clearly are not meeting those standards, what they would do, there's a lot of games that they play. So being a medical officer, being a physician over 23 years in the military, they would go to a junior medical officer and kind of lean on them a little bit. Oh, my knee pain. I don't think I can take the fitness test. I need a waiver. I need a profile. Well, your knee pain is because you're 50 pounds overweight, okay? And if you can't meet those standards, how could you possibly expect the people underneath you to respect you? And it just erodes the faith in our system and in our military. And so when the standard that you ignore now becomes the new standard, and it had eroded very slowly over the past several years, he's just putting us right back where we need to be, and that puts China and Russia on notice.
Are we war ready?
We're definitely, I can tell you that if something happens, we are ready to do whatever this country asks us to do. Could it be better? Yes. But when you look at that mission, when they took out that nuclear facility in Iran, no one else on planet Earth can execute that mission at that level. And so that's peace through strength. We're getting better, and we have some strides to make. But I can guarantee you, if we're called upon to do something, we will get it done.
How's the inventory of our armament?
We haven't. There's been some reductions in our artillery and in some weapon systems. Just there's been a lot of support to Ukraine and in Israel. Those are probably big questions for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They don't really trickle down too far to me, but we have what we need in the immediate term. I think long term we would have to get much more because we have sent a lot overseas, but we have what we need at the moment.
Is the military returning to a faith-friendly status?
It always has been. You will not find atheists in foxholes. That's a very common term. My time in Iraq, I would not have survived without my faith. My chaplain, Jim Higgins, just an amazing individual. He was able to come to my Assumption of Command speech that I gave in 2022 when I became a commander, and it meant a lot to me. Just him, the chaplain's assistant, Mike Swintek, if you're out there, just some wonderful individuals. Faith has always been a critical component of our readiness. That spiritual readiness is just as important as the physical side, because without either, you won't survive.
I do want to get to your book, and I will that after the break, but a couple more thoughts here. So we're ready. We're changing the attitude. We changed the name. We're getting better fit. I mean, everything that has made the military very attractive. By the way, after that bombing in Iran, I understand the next week is when enlistment kind of skyrocketed in America, right?
That's why people join the military. You want to protect your nation. When you're called upon, you see the movies, right? Like Full Metal Jacket, like Top Gun. I mean, a lot of those have been used for recruiting in the past, but then you see the real life mission and the real life implications on, just taking away Iran's nuclear capability. I mean, those are world changing events. You're saving a lot of lives, probably prevented World War III. People want to be a part of that. That's why you join the military. You don't join the military to get woke and do all the crazy things that they were doing under the Biden administration.
By the way, they
You
don't
join
have
the military to protect this nation.
they don't have the woke and DEI in other militaries in other countries.
You will not find that in China or Russia's military.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Two more quick questions. In your opinion, are we the top military force in the world?
There is no doubt about that. Just that Iran mission alone, everyone on planet Earth knows that we're the only country on Earth that can do that mission. And again, that's peace through strength.
And it's been talked about lately about some of the problems that we have within our borders that have been a result of open borders and things like that, that we may have a significant threat within our own borders. Is that a concern to you?
It is a concern, and certainly you can't talk about anything classified, but there were a large number of individuals that were on known terror watch lists that entered our country illegally and are still in the country. You know, they try to keep tabs on as many as they can, but there are individuals in this country that should not be here, and they certainly wish us ill will. And I know the Trump administration is working very, very hard on that. But that really emphasizes why it's so important to have a secured border. If you don't know who's coming into your country, you do not have national security. Again, that's very common sense.
All right, let me take a quick break. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out the Colonel's book called The Weight Behind the Spear. There's a picture of the cover of the book on the screen by Dr. Josh McConkey, and he does have a website, weightbehindthespear.com, and there's a picture of that landing page. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Something big is happening at the Dove TV. On October 8th, we're unveiling our brand new state-of-the-art studio. Same mission, bold new look. Mark your calendar, you won't want to miss it. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on the Dove TV.
At Rogue Hearing in Phoenix, we help you hear life again, clearly and comfortably. From expert hearing tests to custom aids and more, the team at Rogue Hearing delivers care you can trust. Rogue Hearing in Phoenix at the shops at Exit 24. Personalized hearing care right here at home.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Lizer with Lizer Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.
We believe what we do matters.
Every interaction, every transaction is another opportunity
to bring Christ's values into the marketplace.
If you're a technician who wants to be part of something bigger,
or just looking for a new shop to bring your vehicle,
we would love to meet you.
We're Kelly's Automotive Service,
where we service your vehicle,
but take care of you.
For years, the Dove has been bringing you encouragement, information, and hope. Now we're stepping into a brand new era. October 8th, join us for the grand reveal of our new state-of-the-art studio that you've helped make possible, designed to serve you better with a commitment to excellence. It's a new chapter for the Dove, but the same mission with a bold new look. Mark your calendar, October 8th, live between 6 and 9 a.m., and see the difference.
All right, welcome back, and very timely and yet always an honor to have with us Dr. Josh McConkey. He's also a colonel there in the military, in the Air Force, colonel, and physician. He's written a book called The Weight Behind the Spear. There is the picture of the cover of the book, and it's quite comprehensive. And you can go to his website, weightbehindthespear.com. And going through your book, Dr. McConkey, this is very interesting because not only talking about national security and military readiness, but you're talking about next generation. What led you to write this book?
So for me, as an emergency physician, what I'd seen over the last several years, when you take an entire generation and you shut them down from their schools, from their faith, from their communities, it has fueled a mental health crisis. And so I see a lot of anxiety, depression, and unfortunately, a lot of suicides. And as a military commander, those same young individuals, I'm trying to help develop their leadership skills and their resiliency. And you can clearly see how lacking that is. So those two things right there just had me so concerned that I decided to write the book and try to get that message out there. We have a lot of work to do. We need this next generation to be successful.
So what do you mean by the weight behind the spear? Define it.
Yeah, the best resource that we have in this country, it's our people. It's teachers, coaches, volunteers, families, our faith. That is what sets us apart from the rest of the world. And when you work with special operations, I've been very fortunate. So I was medical director for combat search and rescue. And for those individuals, you realize that what gives them the amazing confidence to do what they do, it's the weight behind that tip of their spear. It's those teachers and coaches and volunteers. And so this book is my call to action to get people involved in their community to do just that. This is my prescription to fix that problem.
All right. For those who need to know, it's weightbehindthespear.com is the website, but that's also the title of the book, so check it out. Colonel, I'm really still struggling with the assassination of Charlie Kirk in so many ways. And even over the weekend, I was reading more about it, and I'm just having a hard time processing it. But it has given birth to something that we need, and it may have been a silent movement that we didn't know about of young people being pulled into, they're calling it the silent morality, may have been awoken to this country. And there is a huge movement now of young people seeking truth. They're going to church. They're checking out everything that has been lied to them. And they seem to be going in another direction. A huge move of young men returning to faith. And now that his wife has taken over, her short leadership has inspired a lot of young women to return to faith. I guess my question is, how did you handle it, and what do you think of the post-reality of it?
So it was such a difficult event. I was literally on my way to school to pick up my children when I heard the news. And when I still think about it, my heart sinks. I was very fortunate. I was at the memorial 2 Sundays ago. I was actually on stage with Lee Greenwood as Erica Kirk was giving her speech. And when she forgave the killer, I looked at Lee, he looked at me, our jaws dropped. There wasn't a dry eye in that entire stadium of 100,000 people. And that was the most powerful event I've ever been a part of. And if you take a positive away from that just horrible tragedy, it has brought together people. It has shown them the light. It is that shining beacon of light for the entire world. There were 100 million people watching that event live all around the world. And just showing that what you do matters every day. People matter. Charlie Kirk knew that. He put himself in very dangerous environments, went out there and would talk with anybody, anytime, to keep that open dialogue and that civil discourse, and bringing people to faith, bringing this whole next generation back into the fold after them being isolated during COVID. It's a very positive thing. And, it's still such a difficult tragedy to deal with, but if this is the positive that comes from that, that sacrifice was worth it, and Charlie knew that.
Yeah, I'm still struggling. But let me ask you this: do you think it has cracked the political barriers, some of the walls that we've created within our culture?
Yes, 100%. When you see individuals, so everyone that was kind of just on the edge, you're just talking about reasonable people. The left has so much hatred, and you feel like there's so much evil there. But this event has shown everyone the light. When you see the events and how things unfold when the left, they riot, they burn things down, they're murdering people. When we had that horrific event, we gathered together with faith and we prayed, and people see that. So when you see this younger generation that has really been just so isolated, when they see that, the power of that her literally forgiving the killer, that moves them, and they see the truth. And once they see that truth and they come back into the fold, spiritually, with their communities, getting involved politically, I think you're seeing a huge groundswell right here in North Carolina. We've had a massive increase in Republican voter registration. We are now outpacing the Democrats by a very wide margin. And I think it's definitely moving the needle and bringing people back to faith. It's a very positive thing.
The other part of that, if you were on stage at that moment, there was parts of that event that were just out. It was stunning. And when our leaders got up, Department of Intelligence, Secretary of State got up and literally gave the plan of salvation. These weren't ministers. These weren't heads of ministries or pastors. These were members of our government getting up and openly declaring their faith and the truth of the gospel. It had to be a stunning moment if you were standing on stage.
It was very heartwarming. It was very emotional. And those are the principles that this country is built on. That's literally what we are about. And just being, again, at that event, it was the most powerful event I've ever been a part of. And just to see that literally on stage, getting to watch all of those individuals give their speeches, it was amazing.
I mean, we could see a revival of doing good.
We are. We're moving in that direction, and this younger generation is now a part of that, and that's our future. So even the long-term effects of this are going to be felt for decades.
Colonel, in your book, you make the case of business leaders to see their work as part of national mission. What do you mean by that?
So business leaders, all of these individuals, high school, college, they're coming to you looking for jobs. And so the earlier you get involved and help teach them those basic skills of ownership and accountability, don't wait until they get to you. If you're already way behind the 8 ball when they're coming looking for work, if you get involved early and you coach in your community, like coach t-ball or soccer, or you volunteer in a church or a school, or even take your family to an animal shelter, and these animals become emotional support animals for someone. This is your problem because they're coming to you looking for jobs, and the sooner we get involved, the better it is for everyone. So business owners, community leaders have a very important part to play.
Again, one of the great takeaways from the book called The Weight Behind the Spear. There's a picture of the cover of the book by Dr. Josh McConkey there. And that's also the website, weightbehindthespear.com. One last question, Doctor, and that is, it's really great to see the military get revamped, if I can put it that way, at least called back to mission. It's also very encouraging to see so many people see this as an opportunity, and the enlistment and the volunteer enlistment is just going way up, which is wonderful. But on the flip side of this, the Veterans Administration still struggles in maintaining and helping people. Do you see some kind of a revolution there and a cleanup there as well?
Well, I know that's a very large purpose of the Trump administration. I served at the VA hospital in Durham for several years, working with our veterans right there in the emergency department when I was at Duke University. And, not all VAs are equal. Some are much better than others. We have a wonderful VA healthcare system here in North Carolina. But across the nation, there are huge focuses, and I know that's a big part. The Trump administration is working on that.
So you expect some improvements there?
Yeah, there's a lot of improvements that can be made. Anytime you've got government intervention in healthcare, the bureaucracy, remember the waiting list scandal that they had where, they could only be on a waiting list for so long. The purpose was to get them the healthcare quickly, but they just lied. They just put them on different lists and shoved it in a desk and said they were off the waiting list. Those types of bizarre things that were happening under the Biden administration. But, we're making great strides there. It can always be better, but I'm very proud to have been a part of that VA healthcare system, and I get care there myself as a veteran.
What about vouchers for veterans?
That's something that's being looked at. I don't have any insight on that in my current position. I do a lot of national security and emergency management right now, but I know that's something that is being discussed.
All right. Good to see you again. Thank you. Let's stay connected. Very interested in your race. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, weightbehindthespear.com is the website. You can probably get this online as well. There's a picture of the landing page and a picture of the cover of the book by Dr. Josh McConkey, and there it is right there. Thank you, Doctor. Good to see you. God bless you, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you can go to StrongerNC.com if you want to join our team. So thank you.
Say that again. Stronger what?
StrongerNC.com.
Okay. Stronger NC. Oh, for the campaign. Got it.
Yes,
Thank you, sir. All right. See you later.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site 24/7 in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Something big is happening at the Dove TV. On October 8th, we're unveiling our brand new state-of-the-art studio. Same mission, bold new look. Mark your calendar, you won't want to miss it. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back, and always an honor to sit down and talk with our good friend Kenneth Abramowitz. He's the author of The Multi-Front War, Defending America from Political Islam, China, Russia, and Pandemics and Racial Strife. He's the managing general partner and co-founder of NGN Capital. He has been a contributor to various organizations that are fighting to protect Israel and America from political Islam and the radical left. He is the founder of SaveTheWest.com, which is a website dedicated to saving Western civilization, guess what? From itself. That is his website, SaveTheWest.com. Kenneth, good to see you again, friend. How are you?
Yeah, pleasure to be with you as always.
Well, you're the man. Wow, so much to talk to you about. What did you think of the meeting of the military brass with Secretary Hagstaff getting out there for 45 minutes and saying it's a new day?
I thought it was a great speech, and it was a breath of fresh air. The military had been corrupted over the years by the Biden administration, and starting probably with Obama administration. And someone had to provide, as we say in business, adult supervision and come in and say, we're not playing this communist nonsense game. These ideas were purposely injected into our discourse by our foreign enemies, and we're not going to listen to a foreign enemy. He didn't use those words. I'm putting words in his mouth. But he said the old construct of embedded racism, CRT, critical race theory, which is racism, DEI, which is basically you promote people based on the color of their skin or gender as opposed to merit. And his message was, we're moving back to meritocracy. We want to win. We want the best people in the given jobs. These jobs are full of responsibility. And we want the best people, and we want to have a lethal fighting military force to either, those are my words, scare the enemy or defeat the enemy. But in any case, we're in the business of winning. His speech was nothing different than a coach would give before the Super Bowl or before any game. And it was a pep talk, and it was much needed, and I'm glad he did it.
He basically said, get on board or get out. And apparently some were being shown the door.
Well, look, under the old rules, you got promoted. It's like any organization. There's an expression, tone at the top. So under the old rules, you did not promote people based on merit. You promoted people based upon whatever classification of person needed to fill in the box. And the people who got promoted that way were now the wrong people to have when you move to meritocracy. And so it's not surprising that numerous generals and others would self-select themselves out, because they probably believed the communist nonsense and weren't capable of changing. By the way, just as an aside, I watched some documentary when speaking movies came about in the late 1920s. 90% of the actors were good at silent films and couldn't make the transition to speaking or singing. So I'm not saying 90% of the generals aren't going to make it, but certainly a large minority aren't going to make it under the new rules.
Yeah. I do want to go over here just for a moment. The 20-point peace plan that the president has put together for primarily Gaza in that whole area, just about everybody has signed on, and even Hamas signed on. But now they're to the point where they're down to a sticky place. Number one, no prisoners have been exchanged yet. And number two is they are not willing to give up power. This could be a breaking point. Where do you think this is going to go?
Well, the history of negotiating with death cults is not encouraging. Usually the death cults go down with the ship. So we saw that with Hitler and the German death cult in World War II. We saw that with Japan and the Japanese death cult. So I would say there's a 90% chance Hamas will renege on the deal, and Israel will take over Gaza, and everyone in Hamas will be killed or captured. That's what history would say. There's a 10% chance that the suppliers to Hamas, namely Qatar, Turkey, Iran, will, particularly Qatar and Turkey, will make the decision that Hamas has served its usefulness, it's time for them to disappear, and pressure them to surrender. But that's only a 10% chance. So the president talks as if there's a 90% chance of that, but I'm just saying, if you just looked at history, if you didn't know anything about the current news, just the history, history is death cults go down in death.
Mm. So you think there will be a hostage exchange? Or, I mean, sooner or later, you can't keep moving the deadline. All of a sudden, you lose credibility.
Yes, I think there's a 10% chance the deal will come about as proposed and signed off on. By the way, death cults don't sign on to deals. There's no such thing as a deal with a death cult. So there's a 10% chance that Israel will get the hostages back, the 48 or so of which 20 or so are supposed to be living, and Hamas surrenders and lays down their guns. I put that in the 10% category. And then there's a 90%, they're going to keep adding conditions. I don't have all the 48 hostages. It's going to take me 3 months to find them. I'm not going to lay down my guns. I'm not going to surrender. I'll lay down some of my guns, but not all of my guns. So there's never-ending conditions that they will apply until finally someone like a President Trump says, you obviously don't want a deal. And your handlers aren't pressuring you enough for a deal. I'm disappointed in Qatar and Turkey and Egypt for not pressuring you enough. But you've gone through deadline after deadline, and Israel now can do whatever it wants. And then Israel will just go in and demolish the rest of Gaza, find every Hamas death cult member and kill them. Or sometimes they surrender, which is fine too. And Israel will find the hostages most likely dead under the rubble somewhere. And there's some people in the bad guys who have publicly said, we don't want Israel to ever find the 48 hostages. We want Israel to be torn apart internally by the tragedy of not even finding 48 bodies. So a lot of bizarre things can happen over the next week.
The 20-point plan itself, Kenneth, is pretty remarkable. I mean, it seems like the president's administration is, in fact, you write about this, about the massive changes that it's brought globally. And to get all 20 points signed on by most of the Middle East was a big deal. How impacting is this administration as a world changer?
Well, we have to go back to the big issue. The big issue is there's two types of people in life. I mean, there's more, but let's just pretend there's two. There's people who are normal and people who are abnormal. There's people who are part of Western civilization, where we believe in compromise and negotiation. And there's people who are part of dictatorships and death cults, where they don't negotiate. They want to win. They don't compromise. So the point I'm getting to is when you're dealing with people who are what I call not normal, or they refuse to compromise, they're not part of Western civilization, they have to be defeated militarily. I mean, we've gone through this in World War I and in World War II. That's why we had to go through those wars, because you couldn't negotiate with Hitler and you couldn't negotiate with the Japanese Imperial Army. That's the way it goes. And you have to realize that when you're dealing with people that you can't negotiate with, you have to defeat them. By the way, either they defeat you or you defeat them, and negotiations become less important. I have an expression in the Middle East: there's no non-military solution to any problem that you can think of, because the Middle East is just full of people who don't think the way we think.
I understand that. So the other part of that is the Shiites and the Sunnis. How active is that war, so to speak? I mean, they all want credit for taking Israel out. So do they destroy each other getting the credit?
Very good. Very good. Yes. That's exactly what's going to happen to them, because they can't destroy Israel. Israel's indestructible because Israel's on a mission from God, so to speak, to convey the rule of law to all the nations of the world. And so the mindset of the people running Israel is they're not going to tolerate nonsense. By the way, they've tolerated 50 years of nonsense. 50 years, Israel tried to negotiate and compromise, and what did it get them? Got them genocide on October 7th. Got 1,200 Israelis dead and got 250 hostages taken. So Israel learned its 50-year lesson, experiment with negotiating in the Middle East. And the point is, you don't negotiate in the Middle East. You just do. Either the bad guys impose their vision on you, or the good guys, impose their vision on them. And it's all done through military might. Israel finally learned that lesson. So Iran hasn't yet learned the lesson. They will. And the Sunnis have half learned the lesson. They'll learn the other half. The problem with the Sunnis and the Shiite is, according to Islam, Jews, Christians, and Hindus have no right to exist. Only Muslims have a right to exist. This is called Islamic supremacy. and until they reform themselves and cure themselves of this death cult mentality, you're not going to have normal relations between normal countries in the Middle East.
One other quick question before I take a break. How dangerous is it or was it for us to become more friendly with Qatar?
Well, I'm not a big fan of Qatar. Qatar is financing the Muslim Brotherhood. I would have pressured them to stop their financing the Muslim Brotherhood. But if President Trump were here, he said, yeah, great idea, Ken, Perry, but I have competitors. I have Chinese around. I don't want Qatar taking all of their resources and giving it or selling it to the Chinese. So there's only so much I can pressure them without losing their, in quotes, friendship. And so you have to keep in mind we don't live in a perfect world. And there's other people who will jump in if I distance myself from Qatar. Interesting. All right, let me take a break right here because I have some questions about China. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, check out Kenneth's book. It's called The Multi-Front War. There's a picture of the cover of the book. I think you'll find this to be, well-researched, number one, and number two, it is... it'll bring things into perspective. Check out his website, SaveTheWest.com, and there's a picture of that landing page. Very, very resourceful. We'll be right back.
Every day in Southern Oregon, lives are shaken by poverty, violence, and hardship. Last year alone, the Salvation Army reached more than 11,000 people in Jackson County with food, shelter, and critical support. Behind every meal served, every family housed, and every life restored, there's a volunteer making it happen. Please join us. There are many ways you can volunteer and make a difference in someone's life today. The Salvation Army doing the most good together. This message made possible by the Oregon Health Authority Hospital-based Intervention Grant.
Plagued by injuries early in her athletic career.
Sometimes there were just doubts in my head, like, is this really what I'm supposed to do?
Tessa Johnson found the courage to return to the court by playing for an audience of one.
I live through him, like he lives through me. And I just hope that, like, I can plant seeds in other people, like use my platform and just remember who I am, who I'm actually playing for.
Monday on the 700 Club, right here on the Dove TV. For years, the Dove has been bringing you encouragement, information, and hope. Now we're stepping into a brand new era. October 8th, join us for the grand reveal of our new state-of-the-art studio that you've helped make possible, designed to serve you better with a commitment to excellence. It's a new chapter for the Dove, but the same mission with a bold new look. Mark your calendar, October 8th, live between 6 and 9 a.m., and see the difference. Answers with Bayless Conley.
Now it's no longer I who live, but it is Christ who lives in me.
Find answers to life's biggest questions that can only be found in the Bible.
How much God loves people that he would give so much to redeem them.
Answers to strengthen your faith, to know God better, for a more deep, more powerful walk.
We were the sheep that went astray, but he was the lamb that was slaughtered.
Get Answers with Bayless Conley, Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV.
All right, welcome back, and always an honor to have with us Kenneth Abramowitz. He is the author of The Multi-Front War, Defending America from Political Islam, China, Russia, Pandemics, and Racial Strife. Pretty much covers everything. And he also heads up a website which is very resourceful called SaveTheWest.com, and there's a picture of that landing page. All right, Kenneth, I have a couple more geopolitical questions before I come back to some domestic issues. It appears that Putin has walked away from talking with the president. Where is this going?
Well, it's back to our previous discussion of how do you negotiate with tyrants, dictators, lunatics, people who are not part of Western civilization. By the way, the word Western civilization is just a fancy word for democracy. Mm-hmm. So, and in democracies, we argue, we fight peacefully, we fight with words, we argue, we bluster, but we negotiate, we compromise. and we both walk away winners. We have win-win situations. Once you leave Western democracy and you go to the world of dictatorships, there's no win-win anything. It's like a football game. I win or you win. There's no tying here. And so when you're dealing with Putin, like any of the dictators, you have to be tough. When you start to play Mr. Nice Guy, like I'll give you this concession and I'll do this, and long term, maybe we can do these things together. As soon as you start compromising, you've lost. As soon as you start compromising, the bad guy says, "Oh, this guy's weak. He's a pussycat. I'll walk all over him." And so that's actually one of the problems President Trump had. He thought he could work out a deal, and he publicly said, "I thought I could work out a deal with Putin because we're friends." And now he realizes he wasn't really friends with him. You're not really friends with a dictator. You can be for lunch, but as soon as the lunch over, you're not friends. And you have to be tough. And President Trump's going to have to make that adjustment and be tough.
He has trolled him pretty hard by saying Ukraine now should get back all the land. I mean, that was a tough statement, but it also sends a huge message, don't you think?
Yes, you're exactly right. You're getting to the core issue. As soon as you say, "Okay, Russia, you stole 20% of Ukraine, your soldiers are still there at 90% of the 20%, and you can stay there." As soon as you say that to a dictator, he says, "Great, I don't want 90% of 20%. I want 100% of 20%. And now that after you give me that, I want the next 9 things." And so, yes, the way to deal with people like that is no. You can't keep any of it. We're going to push you out of all of it. We're going to supply Ukraine with the weapons it needs to bleed you to death and blow up your oil refineries and punish your economy. Then you might be able to work out a deal, but only with threats like that.
So do you think it's inevitable the president will turn and put, significant pressure on China and India as it relates to buying oil from Russia?
Yes, President Trump had this theory, which was a logical theory, that we can move Russia out of the bad guy, the abnormal group of people that I was talking about, and not move him into Western civilization, but move him closer to Western civilization, closer to democracy, closer to our values. They are a Christian country. There's no reason why Christians in Ukraine should be fighting Christians in Russia. So let's try to coax them back into the West. And it was a nice theory, but it actually ended up making things worse. It caused Putin to think that, again, that he could walk all over Trump, and he became more and more recalcitrant and more bold in attacking not just Ukraine, but NATO countries.
Yeah.
So, yes, President Trump's now going to have to go back to Mr. Tough Guy after having tried to be Mr. Nice Guy, because that's how you deal with people like a dictator like Putin.
It appears, just a quick question, I'm spending too much time here, but I want to know, it appears that Russia seems to be, and I can use the term respectfully, a little bit of a paper tiger when it comes to its ground war. They don't seem to be very sophisticated. Now they're borrowing troops from China or from Korea. The whole thing, it seems to be not passing the smell test.
Well, Russia did show itself to be a paper tiger, but with 6,000 nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
Now, according to Russian doctrine, I read this in some internet site, the Russian theory is when you get yourself in the war, you start with nuclear weapons first to send a message that I'm big and tough, I have 6,000 nuclear weapons, you don't want to mess with me. So what happened is they ignored their own doctrine, and they ended up just fighting a conventional war. And they thought they were going to roll over Ukraine, but Ukraine, under Zelensky, President Zelensky, came together and said, yeah, over our dead bodies. And the Ukraine folks rose up and repelled the Russian aggressors, occupiers. And so President Putin made a number of miscalculations. He thought it was easy to take over Ukraine. He was wrong. He thought the West would have a bad, muted response. He was wrong. And so now he's stuck into a mess. He either doubles down, which gets him into a bigger mess, or he surrenders, which gets him into a mess. And in Russia, you don't surrender. Whenever you're a bad guy dictator, if you surrender, you can surrender your life at the same time. So Putin's in a big, big mess. Trump knows that. He doesn't want to push the destruction of the Russian economy, but he may have to.
All right, I'm going to turn your attention to some domestic issues right here in our own backyard. We have basically anarchy going on in Portland, and the president's ability to bring even the National Guard in to protect it, at least federal buildings, is now been stopped by the courts. I mean, we actually see something going on in our own state that's kind of unbelievable, that the prettiest city that we have in our state, I should say that respectfully, but I mean, one of the biggest city, obviously, is being destroyed from within. And it appears the citizens like it. I mean, this is crazy. And then you got New York, who may be taken over by a socialist if he gets elected. What's your thought on this stuff?
Well, I sort of wrote a book on this called The Multi-Front War. Okay. And I'll just reiterate a less than 1 minute of theory behind the book. And what I realized when I envisioned the book 10 years ago and then wrote it 5 years ago, updated it 4 times, is that we're in World War III right now. We don't know that, but we are. And it's different, fundamentally different from World War I and II. World War I and II were fought over there. It was a famous song, Over There. But World War III, to quote the Beatles, is here, there, and everywhere. So the point I'm getting to is just because a map says that China's over there, Russia's over there, or Qatar, or Iran's over there, it doesn't mean they're not here. So these bad guys abroad are financing bad guys within the U.S. So there's a direct correlation between our enemies abroad and our enemies within. So now, I don't know exactly who's funding these lunatics in Portland, but I'll guess it's the Chinese. And it's to create chaos within America. And so this is an insurrection, and President Trump should treat it as an insurrection. And when you have an insurrection, the president has the right to send troops into our own cities, as strange as that seems to America. By the way, it's a repeat of the Civil War. We're still fighting our Civil War from 1861, 1865, which we thought ended. But the Confederates didn't think it ended. They just changed their name to Democrats. And we're still fighting the Confederates / Democrats today in Portland. And that's why he has to send in the federalize the National Guard. 2 lower courts have booted him out, at least temporarily. You expect him to get a win on these 2 when they're appealed? Well, what percentage of the judges in America are corrupt? I'll answer my own question. Roughly half of them. All right. Let me ask you, isn't there a part of this, Kenneth, that is really a result of these things called sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, and can they be unwound? Isn't it against the fundamental principle and laws of our country to have sanctuary cities and sanctuary states? It's absurd. That's why I say it's a repeat of the Civil War. In the Civil War, the South, putting words in their mouth, would say, we're sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. If we want to have slavery, we can have slavery. You don't have any right to stop us. To which Abraham Lincoln said, oh, yes, I'm the President of the United States. I'm the Commander-in-Chief. And you cannot. We are dedicated to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for everybody. You can't have an economy based on life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for the landowners. It has to be for everybody, and we had a war over this. We thought the war settled the issue, but it didn't settle the issue. Okay. So to answer your question, President Trump, before his term is over, He's got to eliminate all sanctuary cities, all sanctuary states. I would like him to arrest one governor and one mayor. You don't have to arrest all 500 governors and mayors of these sanctuary cities and set an example.
Thank you, friend. I'm sorry to cut you short. Got to go. SaveTheWest.com. Check out the book, The Multi-Front War. Check that out as well. Kenneth, always a delight. Thank you, my friend. God bless you. Stay in the fight.
A pleasure to be with you. Anytime.
Hi, I'm Sherry Breslin with Rogue Valley Security. Whether it's alarms, cameras, keyless entry, or even Starlink, we tailor solutions for your home or business. We believe in professionalism, excellence, and integrity. Every job, every time. Visit RogueValleySecurity.com.
At Kelly's Automotive Service,
Being good stewards of what God has entrusted to us
is at the core of our business.